Why are some of the largest streamers and most well-known streamers on the entire platform walking away from millions of dollars every single month? And a dozen others are burnt out and crying on stream that they can't come back. All that and more today with the boys. I'm LJ with the Stream Room Podcast. Hello, who else is here?
I'm Nictacular. Good morning.
And you're not going to believe this, Out Reapz, one of your also co-hosts on the channel. Boys, how are we all feeling today?
I'm good. I'm actually fantastic,
great.
you know. Did the intro on one take, which is, let's go.
Definitely don't check the end credits. Don't go
Don't
to
watch
the very end of the
please don't watch to
podcast
the end.
and
Do not
check
watch
it.
to the end.
Don't do it.
Don't do it. Don't watch to the end. I am actually really fantastic, boys. And I want to throw out there, last couple episodes, I want to say that we've been doing really well in the old potty, all right?
Hey, I do like the word potty. That's
It's
good.
good, right? It is
Potty
good.
training, yeah.
And as is our new tradition, to say hello to everyone who's watching this, whether you're on Spotify or YouTube. You're now called the Roomies for one episode. If you like it, comment. If you don't like it, comment. And we may pick a different one next week until we get one we like.
I
What
like
do you boys
the
think?
roomies. Like
The
they're
roomies are
roommates.
good.
Oh, that's genius.
Right?
No, I like that.
Yeah.
That's really good. Round of applause for that. Yeah, I'm all on board with the roomies.
We gotta let the chat. We gotta let the chat decide,
True,
though. We gotta,
true.
we gotta, you know, they may not want to be a roomie with us, but who wouldn't want to live with this mug? You know?
With this beautiful face of ours. Come on
yeah.
now.
I don't know. Let's interview Claire and find out.
She loves it. Thank you very much.
I'm sure she does.
I'll tell you what, though.
Yeah.
I didn't say it in the intro, but while we're here, did you guys hear that you can have live sex on Twitch and get a 7-day ban, and that's it? You come back, party hard.
Yeah,
I'm just
slap on the
glad
wrist and off you go.
She did a service to us all and to the guy as well by allowing us to know how many days you'll get banned for having live intercourse when streaming. So well done to her. If you don't know what we're talking about, we talked about it briefly last podcast.
Last week, yeah.
One of the streamers, a female streamer, was having sex on camera, but positioned so you don't see it. However, there was a glass window which reflected what was happening off camera. Well, it was on camera, but off camera, if you know what I mean. So
The reflection was on, but it was off cam. Like it was. Here's the thing, right? The only reason I bring it up is not because I don't want this to be a gendered thing whatsoever. If it was a guy having sex and they got a 7-day ban as well, I'd bring it up as well. But the only reason I bring it up is that holy crap, it's just sad. Not sad. It's just bad publicity for Twitch.
Yeah.
Right? Like it's just bad publicity in the streamer space for Twitch to be so kind of consistently inconsistent.
Yeah.
Like they are consistently unbanning people who do things like this, but then consistently keeping people who do other things completely banned. And it's like, I don't know, man. It feels very strange to me to see it.
I don't understand it. But it's like, hey, if you're gonna do it. Make sure it's only from the reflection because you can come back.
Yeah.
That's not true though, because we've seen other creators literally like completely bare ass spread their cheeks directly to the camera and get a 3-day suspension. like literally people have done live sex shows on Twitch and then just said, oops, I thought I was on this other platform.
Yeah.
And they got a 3-day suspension. But like, I think Forsen or another creator got like a 7-day ban because someone linked him a GIF that they'd edited the GIF so that halfway through a horse cock having sex with someone appeared.
Yeah.
Like, and he got a 7-day ban for that when he's clearly being openly attacked or like trolled, kind of, right?
Yeah.
So I just find it so strange that how inconsistent it is. And it's impossible to be consistent, right? Surely.
It is. Let's not beat around the bush here. I think we know that there is definite favoritism when it comes to Twitch. I mean, if you're making really good money for both the platform and yourself, because, it's very much that back and forth, there will be times when they overlook it and maybe just go, oh yeah, you've got your punishment. You were definitely banned, but we need you back right now to, make those quotas or whatever it is. Now, obviously, that's just only certain departments within Twitch. And obviously we do not condone it because it should just be a stock standard. If you do this, this is the amount of time. And they need to be more clear. I think the biggest thing that they did recently was, of course, that if you got banned, they'll tell you why you got banned, which is always a great thing. But we need to go to the next step now, Twitch, and that's actually say, for this type of offense, sexual activity on stream, we're going to have to ban you for, 14 days or suspend for a month, whatever it is. But it has to be clear because the favoritism is definitely going to rub people the wrong way.
Yeah. And it's just a bad look.
Yeah.
It is, yeah. I mean, we've seen it a lot in the past where if it's someone who was known in the space, that it would always be temporary. No matter what they did, it'd always be temporary because they were known or a big streamer. The favorite, like there'd be some favoritism, and they'd come back eventually. And then on the flip side, we'd also see it where a unknown streamer, for the most part, to the space, if they would do something, it'd be permanent.
Yep.
So in this instance, it's interesting that it's someone who, again, not really known at all, ended up with this temporary ban for something for what they did, which was pretty bad to have on camera.
It's definitely risky if you're going to get caught and you did
risque, maybe risque.
Yeah, definitely risque.
Add some twang to the K.
If you were in the position of Twitch right now, and obviously this happened, and you're the case manager or whatever, and they go, "Yo, so this is what's happened. What do you think would be a punishment? What do you think is a just action to take against this streamer?"
I mean, if you're going to give people 7 days for being trolled or attacked, right? Also, Forsen got the 7 day, but Poki had the same thing happen, and she didn't get any suspension. She rallied for a suspension, but she didn't get any suspension. She asked for it. I feel like you just need to say, okay, we're going to give 7 days because this person did X. Well, then you know what? This person did XXX. We're going to give them at least like 31 or forever. Like, it just feels like I know there's thousands or hundreds of people managing these cases. So I know it's never going to be, but they need to actually make a document of like, here is like some examples. Here are example cases, right, for everything. And we will try keep people in line with it. Yeah. And if something comes up that we're like, oh, this isn't someone getting trolled. This is someone specifically showing this. Oh, wait, what? This is weird. They showed X, and that's never been done before. Where would it rank on the scale that we've talked about? You know what I mean? Like, and then everyone should have every moderator should have that document and be able to go, okay, cool. This is what our consistency should be.
Yeah, agreed.
I completely agree.
agree.
That I don't understand how they haven't implemented.
Because if you're on the outside looking in and you see this person has done this grievous thing, which is, pretty bad, and you only get 7 days, then they're like, oh, okay, I'll risk it. I'll just get a 7-day ban. I'll get more clout from it or whatever. I can, promote whatever I've got going on. If it's an OnlyFans or if it's something else, yeah, I can do that. And I know that I'll be in the headlines. So it's just kind of like there's no real punishment given with 7 days to make people go, oh, I'll never do that. I'll never want to, risk my channel for this because it's 7 days. And they can always look back on that person and go, well, they only got 7 days. Why am I getting 30 or completely banned?
Yeah. It is a weird one. I just want to bring it up because I feel like it's something that's going on right now. But before we get into talking about the fact that literally some of the biggest streamers on the platform are walking away, that they are walking away from hundreds of thousands of dollars, right? Like every single month, because that is legitimately how much people make every single month.
It's a business. They are a business, yeah.
From normal donations, bits, subs, all those things on Twitch. Yeah, sponsorships. Yep, like sponsorships being the big one probably, but also consistent subs is huge. But a lot of creators are walking away from that. Before we do that, should we talk about what did you guys get up to this week on your streams? Did you have live sex?
No, I wish, but no, that's right.
I'm thinking about it. If I only get a 7-day ban.
To be fair, Reapz, you and I did do some.
We did some hugging. We did
some hugging yesterday, didn't we?
Yeah. Well, I was say, do you want to talk about your little collab, lads?
Yeah, let's do that.
We played. So last week on the podcast, or maybe the week before, I brought up a game called Played Up by the Yogscast and said we had to play it. And then because I'm doing daytime now, I was like, you know what? Why do I always hesitate and wait? I was like, I want to get shit done, you know? So I just said, Reapsy boy, Played Up Monday. You and me in the nude serving food, And,
7-day ban, by the way, incoming.
Well, we'll see how it goes. But we jump into it. And I don't know about you, Reapsy, but I loved it. It was one of the most fun I've had.
I had a blast on that stream. When there's some games that you play with other people and it's fine, but you try and the content's not working as well. So you have to add that little bit more. This was no problem whatsoever. It is so fun. And people were yelling at me in the chat to do this, that, and the other. Put the oven near the bloody plates and blah, blah, blah. And it was just constant something to do. And because it's like a great game where the further you go, the more that they give you, the more that they kind of up the ante. It's like, I got to go again. I got to go again. I got to go again. So I got to tell you, this was a great suggestion and we're going to do more in the future. Hopefully with all of us three. Again, we're trying to get to 1,000 subs on this channel and there may be a day, as we said, live streaming on YouTube, and that may be one of the things that we do on that day. But Thank you, LJ. Honestly, I had the most fun I've had in such a long time streaming. Yeah.
So if anyone doesn't know, right, essentially imagine Overcooked, but it's a roguelike. So like you're playing Overcooked, but you go through like 15 tiers of like levels as it get harder and harder and harder. And when you beat all 15, it goes into overtime and you just keep going. And it's like there are X number of people coming to the restaurant every day. You got to make their orders, serve them, and come back, right? But as you go, you unlock new things. So like, for example, you can research a table to make it a fancy table and put that in, right? And when you lose, you have to start entirely again, right? With different meals and stuff. But like, it could be like, okay, you're at an upgrade section now. Do you want to add mashed potato to your menu so that people can order a steak and mashed potato instead of just a steak now? Or do you want to have 15% less customers, but they will be less patient with like your orders coming out? And so Reapz and I like trying to figure this out, like working it out and doing everything like that. But it was so much fun. But as with all collabs, right? Mm-hmm. My chat just died. Like,
yeah.
But this is me with like most games these days, is that if I'm not actively talking to chat, they kind of just like go heavy lurk mode.
Yeah.
And I don't know if it's like me moving daytime stream or maybe the fact that I'm mostly a just chatting streamer and I'm trying to do more gaming, right? To blow off steam.
Yeah.
But like my chat practically just died like in terms of activity. But there are people that were still like, it said I had 110, but I actually had about 80.
Yeah, I'm probably the same. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, yeah. And I just find it was just a lot. It was just a lot of fun though, right? It was just one of those things where you never have to stress in a stream like that. Because if you have to focus on the game, you know you got the other person in your ear going like, "It's me, Reapz, and I'm serving you steak." And you're like, "Why are you Italian? We're a steak restaurant."
Well, you know, everything's Italian. But it is the fact that it's kind of like, I know the content was there. I had no problems with what we were streaming because I know there was good content. People were having like a blast when they were talking. Because I look at big streamers, and I'll use an example here. Sequisha, he's an amazing streamer. Like, he's consistent. He does like 10 to 12 hour streams, right? But when he's playing those games, like, because he usually just sticks to a game for a week and then moves on, right? The chat is mainly silent when he's playing the whole game. Like, few comments here and there, but he's got like, you know, thousands of people in there, right? And then as soon as he finishes the game and looks to camera and starts talking to chat, like that, because they are engaged in the gameplay. So I'm hoping that people, when they are watching this, are engaged in the gameplay and they just, you know, relaxing and sitting back and enjoying. But you never know, which is the hard thing.
You don't, yeah. But that's why it's so easy to have a stream like that and feel more relaxed about it, right? Because even if chat does die, it's like, it's okay because you know you're still making good content. And then for me, I was actually streaming that purely because I wanted to make a YouTube video out of it. So like, I've given that to my editor now. He's working on that, you know, and I think there's really good stuff there. And we did like 4 levels, right? Like we did 4 levels back to back of it. Different food every time. And some really funny things happened.
The name of the restaurants were the best.
Dude, the restaurants. We had one called Toss My Salad. We had one called
You Pizza Sheet.
You Pizza.
Oh my God, that was going to be my question. I was like, what were your restaurant names? Like,
yeah, that was good. No Mistakes.
We had another one called No Mistakes, which is our second restaurant because our first steak restaurant had a lot of steaks.
The first level, I just died immediately.
The first restaurant we were called something called Steaks and Stuff, but we spelled it as steaks. No, it was called Steak and Stuff, and it was spelt with a steak was spelt wrong, and we were doing vampire accents.
Yes, we were blue.
Yeah, well, for the first section, then we got really struggled to remember to do that because it was too hectic.
Yeah, it was.
But no, it was really really fun. Honestly, I think like it's one of those things that collabs are fantastic, and the reason I like doing collabs right now is I've told you boys 1,000 times. I've just been really like burnt out on like what content I want to do.
Yep.
And like, there's just something so much more fun about blowing off steam with a mate. You know what I mean? You know, just you're there, you got your steak, you do some stuff. It's just good. It's just really good.
It was such a fun time. And that's what I really enjoy, is because it is a weight off your shoulders. And obviously we'll go into like the burnout and everything with a lot of people leaving. But Nick, how was your week as well?
Yeah. Just before I get into it, I just want to add, I know what you mean, because in the past when I've done collabs as well, that's what I've noticed too, is like my chat is a lot quieter. But when something does happen, or when I do have a moment to sort of turn to chat, then you have a few more people that start to you know pop out. And I think it's just a general consensus that a streamer that they regularly watch, when they see that they're doing a collab, they know that the interaction is going to be a lot less than what it usually is.
Yes.
But I think they're okay with that. They know that it's collab. They're watching someone engaged with someone else in game. So I think it's like, the chat may seem quieter, but I think for the most part, people get it, which is very comforting. So I think to us as streamers, knowing that they kind of get it, but they're still there, even if they're not like constantly chatting as much as they used to be. But no, I had a great week. I've been pretty much addicted to Cult of the Lamb. I love this game so much.
So much fun, right? So much fun.
And as I'm sure we've all experienced, the game does have some quirks. It's had some bugs. I had this great moment where one of my viewers ended up constantly being picked as a follower, and so now we have 6 of him in the game. So now we literally have the cult of monks, which is there's just 6 of him around the place. And it was honestly hilarious. The chat was just dying from laughter, just constantly back to back. He was just getting picked. But no, everything's gone really well. Been cranking out like a YouTube video that's like a Yu-Gi-Oh video every week so far.
Nice,
which has been really good.
Killing it.
I'm getting some extra help with like some editing here and there. So I've hired like a friend who's an editor to just crank out a couple videos for me. So yeah, just trying to keep that consistency up, and then as we kind of build out the channel full of videos, hopefully the algorithm will start to pick up those videos a bit more. But I've also got some videos in place that's going to be very SEO orientated as well. So might as well get those done while I can now, which will hopefully help down the track too. So overall it's been pretty solid. Yeah.
Very cool.
Can I hot take Cult of the Lamb?
Okay, here we go. Hot take. Let's go.
I loved it. It was really, really good, but I'm shocked how quickly I went from loving that game to being so fucking not wanting to play that game.
Really? What was the main driving force of it?
So like I played that game on stream for like 5 hours. First day I got it, loved it. Everyone loved it. We were all about it. Second time I played it, loved it. Everyone was all about it. I spent a long time doing the the management part of it, the cult management part of it, because I found that was the most fun on stream. All the chatters coming in and like making them and doing all the things like that. But I got to the point where I was playing on the hard difficulty, but I got to the point where I didn't have any issues with resources at all, right? Like I never was worried about not having enough lumber or not having enough stone or not having enough money. I was fine, right? Totally fine. Before I'd even beaten the second dungeon, I had maxed out everything for my sermons, so I couldn't get new doctrines. I was fully leveled up, had every weapon unlocked pretty much. Like I'd done all that stuff. The only time I was going into dungeons was to get bones, to do rituals, right? Because the bones are the only way to get bones is to do dungeons. You know what I mean? And I don't know, maybe it's like, hear me out, right? People can say this is my fault and that's totally fine. But like maybe it's because I spent so long in the management side of things and did so few like little dungeons and stuff like that. But finally, when I started making progress in the dungeons, it felt like I was just running dungeons back to back to back. And like I would come back, make some food, run a dungeon, make some food, run a dungeon. And like the dungeon running in that game is fun, but it feels like such a secondary thing. Yeah. Like it feels like the management sim and the world and everything like that they've got is like their main focus. And then the dungeon run is like this other thing. You know what I mean? Whereas a game like Moonlighter, which is one of my favorite roguelikes or roguelite games of all time, it feels like the shopkeeping and town management and the dungeon running is perfectly hand in hand, like 50-50 balance. Yeah. But not Moonlighter, but for me, Cult of the Lamb, it was like 80% management, 20% dungeon. And I found myself not wanting to be forced to do the dungeon. Like I didn't like that I was like, oh, I'm going to do this and this and this. Oh, I need bones and only bones. And the only thing I get from doing this dungeon is bones. Yeah. You know what I mean? It just felt rough. You know what I mean? And because I wanted to sacrifice people with the rituals. Because people get old and I want to sacrifice them before they get old. But then I go run a dungeon to get bones and they die before I get back. Yeah. And I understand that the game is designed to force you into the dungeon to play it and do that stuff. And that's fine. I think that's great. But I just feel like, kind of like Pokemon Arceus, there's a certain gameplay loop of it early on is so fun that by the time I'm moving on from it, I'm a bit bored. Is that weird to say? Like, no. I wanted something new and different. And a part of Cult of the Lamb I think they try to make new and different is like, you get these new weapons and then we randomize the weapons and the spells. And I'm like, that's great and all, but I would love it if you'd made it so like I could actually have a bit more control over the randomization of the weapons and the spells. Right, yeah. You know, like if I'm not excited to go into the dungeons, then because I just need to get bones, then I'm going to be even less excited when I get in there and it's the one weapon I hate. You know what I mean? Like it's like, oh, it's the small dagger. It's like,
Yeah.
it's like, okay, cool. Yeah, I get it. It's designed to make the gameplay loop replayable, and it's good. And it's a fantastic game, don't get me wrong. But I'm just super shocked about how quickly the gameplay for me, I was like, I'm not going to finish that game now. I tried to push through it on stream, and I ended up making just terrible content.
Gotcha.
And you could tell, like, I watched back my VOD, and you can tell that I'm like smiling and trying to do it and stuff like that. But like, you can just tell that I'm there, just like, oh, we gotta do the dungeon.
There's no wind in the sails.
Yeah. Well, like, I got the golden fleece, right? Which is the thing where like you kill stuff and you get a higher percentage of damage and you scale it all together.
Yeah.
And then I started unlocking the other fleeces. And I was like,
why do you need them?
Why would I ever use these other fleeces?
Yeah, I know. I was the exact same way. Yeah.
And it's the same with all the doctrines and stuff as well. It's like, a lot of the time, it's like, it doesn't feel like there is much depth to the choices. You're always going to make the same choices every time because there's just certain things in the game that are just inherently better, right? And the weapons feel really arbitrary as well. You know what I mean? Like a hammer, that's a really different gameplay style, right?
Yep.
It's super slow, smash, huge damage. But when you compare, say, an axe and a sword, it's like axe is slightly slower, but technically the DPS or damage per second is the exact same because they've just made it so like, a sword does 10 damage every 0.5. But an axe does 5 every 1.
Yeah.
Right? Or whatever. Sorry, 20 every 1 or whatever, right? So you know what I mean, right? Like it's so arbitrary. It's just all it changes is the length, right? Like the length of how close you have to be.
Yeah.
And I loved the tarot cards. But again, I didn't see the point in going around and buying all the tarot cards and collecting them all because then it just made it feel like my deck of random cards that I would be shown were going to be full of all these random things that I don't actually fit my play style.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And so I was running these dungeons like, man, I really hope I get this tarot card, this tarot card, this tarot card. And I run the whole thing and I'm just getting like, here's an extra heart, here's a fish, here's when you roll the bomb drops, you know? And it's like, I wish I could sell those back or like turn them off or like give me the depth to actually have more control of my play style.
Yeah.
And I don't know, I just feel like the game early on, despite being on a hard difficulty, was really, really fun. And very early on in that, like I started being like, well, so once I get past this point, really the only thing is like the dungeon running, and that's not as fun for me. So I don't know. Great game, but I don't know. It's just
I honestly I sympathize with a lot of your feeling because that I generally feel that as well. Where the roguelite stuff it's cool, but it definitely is secondary. You spend a lot of your time in the management area, and I do think that by playing it on stream because Twitch chat can generate the devotion, right, and you get the wheel. That definitely, depending on how often you get that wheel, that can also throw off, your sort of resource loop. So that's obviously, that's going to happen where you're going to end up with a lot of resources. But I feel like it's been so different compared to everyone else I've spoken to because I actually I was resource struggled for a long time. Like I was constantly in need of wood because my chat would constantly break my beds.
right. Yeah.
So, well, not just for that, but that happened a lot.
Well, my thing is that I would always build lumber camps and mines, right? Because in my head, I was like, early on, I realized, I've cut down every tree and everything of every stone.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, it's one of those? Okay. And so it was like, if I ever got to the point where I had like 40 wood, but rather than buy anything else or do anything else, I would literally just build 2 lumber camps.
Yeah.
Right. And I'd already have 2 there. So when those 2 broke, the next 2 were there. And if I hit 40 wood, I just build it again. Right. And eventually got to the point where I had like 200 wood and 200 stone. And I was sat there just like, cool, I've got all the money in the world as well because I'm just selling follower bones every time I sacrifice because they're worth like 10 gold.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Or you get gold nuggets and you turn those into coins.
Yeah.
And I was just kind of sat there just like, I mean, here's the other thing. I tried to put it on the harder difficulty on an offline save. After I burnt out, I decided maybe I'll just relax with it, play it on my Switch, see how I go. And that was fun, but I put it on the hardest difficulty rather than the second hardest.
Okay.
And it wasn't that the game became more dynamic or needed more strategy. It was just that it was aggressively unfair.
Gotcha.
Like, you know what I mean? Like, it was just like one of those things where I was like, oh, okay, so second hardest difficulty, really all you have to do is just keep building these things to get lumber and stuff like that. Hardest difficulty, no, it's just telling you to go yourself, right? Like, so again, I love it. It's a fantastic game. But it just feels, I don't know.
Yeah. It would have been nice to, like, I get that they have the fully randomness for the roguelite part. But it would have been nice if like maybe around that halfway point, you start to get a little bit more control. So up until that point, right, the randomness is allowing you to try the different weapons, experience the different tarot cards and the different curses. So then, it'd be nice if down the track you could unlock something that allows you to have a bit of influence on what you would prefer to play with.
Like a tunic or something, like, because the only real, as you said, is the golden fleece tunic. You don't need anything else. All the others are crap, and it's like, why would I even
the other
put
ones are
these
like
on?
inherently worse. Like they don't give you anything, you know?
I get hit
like why would I
lots.
want to? But like then you just use the normal one, right? If you get hit lots, you just wear the normal one because the other ones just hold you back.
Yeah.
Because why would I want to draw 4 tarot cards and nothing else? Because if I do a dungeon run, same as what I said with the dagger, right? I do a dungeon run. Oh, I got a dagger. Okay, well, I'm wearing the white fleece, so they're going to draw 4 tarot cards, and I never get another tarot card on this run, right? Because that's pretty sure what the ability is for one of them. It's like, cool, so I got the dagger because I have no control, and then the 4 randomized tarot cards are fucking enemies drop fish.
Yeah.
When you dodge roll a bomb drops, which is inherently like, I get it, it can be useful, but it's not at the same time. And like, it's like, why do I want these terrible tarot cards, you know? And like, sometimes you don't even get a choice about whether you want them.
Yeah.
Right? Like the guy just gives you the fish one. And it's like, I'm using that as an example, I know, but still.
Take it.
And I don't know. I just wish, when you think of Hades, great game. I had a similar issue with Hades in the sense that I felt like I loved Hades and I really enjoyed the gameplay loops and stuff like that. But I realized at a certain point that there was no real reason to scale the heat up. You know what I mean? Which is like the difficulty. And I found there was like, the story was really slowly drip fed to me. I really enjoyed it. I think it's a good game, but like I played it I wanted to kind of hear the story and see the characters experience stuff and do those things. And the loop kind of just kept being the same thing. But something great I loved about what they did was the replayability factor was the buffs you got throughout the Hades dungeon run were randomized by the different gods, giving you different abilities. But you got to pick what weapon to start with, and you could customize the weapons as well. Okay. So it was really nice because it felt like there was a certain random aspect to it, but they let you play to your play style. And then the random aspect, it would be like, hey, here's one god buff to start, but as you run, we're going to give you like a bunch of options to go down. You know what I mean? If you pick Zeus, we're probably going to give you Dionysus as well because they fit really well together. However, we'll put Artemis as well off to the side and let you pick, you know? But we're not going to give you all of them. We're going to let that randomization of it, which is fun, right?
Yeah, there's a lot more balance to it. Did you unlock the missionary?
Yes, I unlocked the missionary. I built that level 2 and I was sending guys out on it. And that honestly kind of made it feel even less
just
fulfilling because I was like, cool, I don't need lumber, I don't need gold. I guess I'll just send them for food. Yeah. And so I'd send some guy to get food and he'd come back and give me a bunch of meat and I'd be like, I've already got 3 farms already level 2. You know what I mean? Yeah. And here's the thing, right? I am totally aware of the fact that I probably spent too much time with the management sim and I leveled everything up. And so I got less out of doing the dungeon runs. I'm totally aware of that, right? I had every ritual unlocked before level 2. I had all this stuff. The reason, here's what I would have loved. Make it so you can't get past certain levels of cult, or make it so you can't unlock certain things, or make it so like there's a certain reason more than just bones, right? Oh, you have done everything you can in the management sim until you beat level 2, the second dungeon. Yeah. Rather than being like, you can literally unlock every sermon, every ritual, everything like that before you even do the second one, as long as you have enough followers, you know? Because in Moonlighter, the way it works is for upgrades or to buy new stalls or to upgrade the town or to sell certain things or create new armor types and stuff like that, you need certain resources from certain dungeons. So you can't just keep farming the first dungeon to get gold and money and then upgrade everything. You have to go and beat the second dungeon because you need to go get like the things from it. And everyone's like, oh, Heart of the Heretics, or, you know, you get the crystal stones and stuff like that for certain buildings in Cult of the Lamb. Yeah. But again, you really don't.
It's a very minuscule amount that actually require the gemstones. You can basically have everything you need by the time that you get to that point. Like even the final housing structure, like that's just basic materials. Yeah, you just need poo. Like, and the tabernacles and all the stuff that make extra devotion. Yeah, useless. I had enough devotion. I'd unlocked everything. Yeah, and I haven't even beaten the third dungeon. Yeah, you know what I mean? Like, I think I got to like level 10 weapons before I even got to like that. Before I even completed the second like dungeon. like
Yeah.
you beat the boss.
So it's supposed to be that you can't get that stuff because you need more food to feed all the people who create the devotion, right? But the reality is, if you just build farms early, you don't have any kind of difficulty to it because you can always make food. And if you do the sermons, you unlock the devotion or the doctrines or whatever it is to mean that people are happy eating grass meals even.
Yeah.
You know, like,
yeah.
You can literally set it up so easily. And if you really are that worried about food, again, if you've leveled people up and given them love, then you can get the ability to just run a feast. And so if you have 50 bones, you feed everyone to max with one ritual.
Yeah.
And if everyone's devoted, then you've already unlocked your ability to have 50% less cooldown on your rituals. So you can do a ritual for food every like 2-3 days. And you're like, I don't know. I get it. I spent too long on the early game.
Okay.
But I just wish I'd loved that game enough to play to the end of it.
Do you think they underestimated how good everyone would be at like the management sim after like playing?
I don't know. I had the same problems on my offline save as I do of my Twitch save though. So I know it's not the Twitch integration that caused it, because there are a couple people saying, oh, LJ, you just feel that way because the Twitch integration gives you so much stuff and gives you all these followers and things like that. And if anything, I loved the Twitch integration more because I felt it out of challenge by the fact that I had so many followers coming in that it actually forced me to have to play harder and like build these camps and do these things and like get the farms and stuff. But I know this is a bit of a side, but I just want to talk about it because I think a lot of people watching this are probably gamers as well, right? Like, and we probably all played Cult of the Lamb on stream with the Twitch integration, which is amazing. And I just feel like, I'm just a little let down.
Yeah, no, I can understand it. The thing that I was let down the most with is that they couldn't fix this damn bug. So I have a controller. I played on controller, and I got like a faulty wire. And every time that I was in a dungeon and my controller disconnected, I would then be in this pose of just like I just like did a swipe, and then I'm stuck there, right? And I can't move. And then when I can move, if I attack with it, it doesn't do any damage to the enemy. So I have to quit out of the game, then go back in. I'm on the final boss. I win the game. My controller disconnects in the cutscene. I'm then stuck in a cutscene with something happening, and I can't progress further. So I now have to replay the final boss to get to the cutscene that was. So if they can fix that, that would be amazing for me. Just a controller disconnect. So yeah.
My wife had a bunch of. I played the Switch version alongside and stuff like that, and my wife also played the Switch version as well because it's kind of the perfect game for a Switch to like play on the couch.
I've
you know what I mean?
to buy it on the Switch, yeah.
But here's the thing: the Switch version was so broken.
Oh no!
There were huge performance issues, right? Like I got a lot of followers really quickly, and then my OLED Switch, my good Switch, my technically better Switch, was lagging. It took like a minute, like GTA 5 level load times for Cult of the Lamb, right?
Really?
Yeah, and the more like buildings I built, the slower it got, and dungeons would have stutters in them because there was so much on screen and happening and stuff like that. And my wife had the same things on her Switch, and she's got a good Switch as well. And the thing that really frustrated me, it was glitched out, so only the very first 7 followers you ever have will go to your sermons.
Oh.
So it's really weird. For so long, you could run a sermon and they just wouldn't bring anyone else in. But here's the thing. If someone died, they also wouldn't come to the sermons. They wouldn't just give you the next person on the list. So you had to keep resurrecting. My wife and I both have the exact same issue with this, and it's all over the net as a bug. And it was just so frustrating to try and play this game on Switch and have all these performance issues, these glitches, and then on top of all the other things that I was struggling with. And it's like, man, it sucks.
Oh, yeah, that's rough. I noticed that, especially once you've got so many buildings and stuff, it's really even on like PC, it's taken a toll.
Yeah,
but whether I don't know if this is a massive cause of it. But last night I was just playing offline because I just wanted to reorganize the my village area because I'm like I'm gonna sit. I knew I need to sit here in silence and plan out my thing, and I'm not gonna do this on stream because I'm not gonna sit in silence for 10 minutes. But I put pathing everywhere, and I noticed that it's lagging a lot more than it did because it's like these paths that seemingly are just PNGs, just like images just all across the floor are causing way more lag. I'm like, what's going on?
Dude, okay, so here's the problem as well. I had the exact same issue, and I started getting really annoyed because, again, I love the management side of it, but I don't want my village to look like shit. But you can't spend ages making it look beautiful because the more plants you add, the more paths you add, it starts stuttering the whole game. And it's like, well, LJ, you should just get a better PC. Like, motherfucker, I shouldn't need to get a fucking 3090 or whatever Ti in order to play Cult of the Lamb, a 2D art style game. My 1080 Ti should run that just fine.
That's true. Yeah, so it is. It does lag out a lot in that game. Like I have to restart it multiple times because there comes a time where it just cannot fix itself. And you're like, okay, I guess I'll save and restart.
Yeah.
Did you guys ever get the animation bug? I had an animation bug where sometimes while I was talking, if I tried to like talk to someone or I tried to run like a few actions too quickly. So like maybe I run a sermon, run a ritual, run something else, or I pick up like 4 shrines in 1 second and then try to talk to someone and inspire them. When the animation starts to do the inspire or whatever the animation is that comes like last after a few things, it just never finishes. Oh. So you just get stuck doing the animation for ages.
That's what happened in my cutscene at the very end of the game.
No,
it happened like 3-4 times in my on my stream, and every single time you have to pause, you have to save, you have to close and open back up, but the save would start like a few minutes prior to where that was. So you have to do like all the pickups again and like do all the stuff again, but you have to do really slowly. So you have to press A on shrine, pick up stuff that's on the ground, press A on next shrine, pick up. And I was just like, I don't know, man. I loved the game, but
Understandable.
God,
It is one of those things, but we'll probably should move on as we've been talking about for the past 20 minutes.
I mean, to be fair, to be fair, we talked mad shit in one of our best performing podcasts.
I'm just wondering all the people who haven't played Cult of the Lamb, they're like, what the fuck are they talking about?
It's fine.
It's fine. Talking about sex on stream to cults. Excellent stuff.
Yes, exactly. It's all inclusive, isn't it?
Yeah,
it isn't
I mean, content's content, right? You know, one stream is trash and another stream is content.
Reapz, just you wait until LJ and I start talking about anime one day. It's good.
I'll just leave the room and come back at the end.
Dude, I've learned my lesson on that. I tried talking about anime on my daytime streams, and I literally, I watched my average view count. I did a whole stream, and then I was wrapping up with some just chatting. And I did like 30 minutes of like just chatting about random stuff. And my view count was like 110, really confident, really good. And then someone asked me about anime. I talked about anime for 5 minutes and you can literally see my graph go from like 110 to literally like 75, 80. Like I'm not joking, like in seconds.
Don't worry, LJ, here is your safe space.
Yes. I mean, I can't contribute, but I'll be like, yes, it's safe.
Speaking of safe space, last week I talked about how I was so burnt out. My quote, I literally said the words, "Yeah, I'm so burnt out, guys." And Hamo heard me say this and commented because he wrote this comment, and I'm going to read it out. He goes, "LJ, yeah, guys, I'm so burnt out. Also, LJ, I'm releasing a TikTok every day for a year starting on the 15th." So I know it sounds strange, but like, let me clarify this, right? If we're going to talk about burnout today properly and talk about like Ninja throwing his controller and quitting streaming, the reason why I'm burnt out is because I'm literally not challenging myself or learning new things or doing things like that. And releasing a TikTok every day for 30 days, you know, starting on the 15th, or every day for 365 days starting on the 15th is literally such a good way to challenge myself again, right? Like to feel like what I'm doing has difficulty and failures and learning from the failures and not just like throwing shit at the wall, you know, because it's just one of those things, right, where it gives me a chance to expand who I am as a creator,
right?
You know, and do it more than just join comboing clips and stuff like that, like actually challenging myself. And so I actually think that one of the best ways to avoid burnout, and for me personally, is as long as I feel like I'm always learning, you know, and I honestly think that's the big reason why I last like 6 to 8 months, why I've been the way I am, is because I've just been kind of bored. You know,
I was gonna say you've got the creative burnout, not the the exhaustion type side of burnout.
Yeah. Like I'm not motivated, which I know, you know what I mean. You guys know what I think about motivated, but to clarify, when I say motivated, I don't mean I don't want to work. It's I don't have a good reason.
Yeah.
Right? Because money doesn't motivate me. If money motivated me, you'd have 6 videos going on SSN every single month. Every single one would have an ad on it, and every single one would be like some baity bullshit clickbait that I don't actually interest me whatsoever. Right? Like that's what it would be. And the thing is that money doesn't motivate me. Learning new things does, and Stream Scheme doesn't give me the ability to learn new things in my edits, really, because it's such a formatted thing, and people want to learn a certain way. And then the LJ channel is not something that interests me for editing either. Like I'm doing that because I like the gameplay, the releasing, and the SEO side of it. The actual editing side of it doesn't interest me because I've edited for like 8 years now, right? Reapzy and Reapzy, I know you can get this probably a bit more than Nick, but Nick, you probably understand it as well. But when you're an editor, at a certain point, everything kind of just becomes the same edit.
Yep.
Right? Not because it literally is, but because the process is the exact same, right?
Yeah.
And after doing this for like 8 or 9 years now, literally like every video is like, cool, grab the music, get the footage, assembly cut, rough cut, fine cut, and I'll do some effects here and there.
Yeah.
You know, maybe I'll do a mask on this one. Ooh. You know, like, and you realize that like going above and beyond on it is good for you. But when you're a YouTuber, a lot of the time going above and beyond doesn't do anything for the actual performance of the video either. So like, you know, it's like, and learning new things in it doesn't really give you any, no one's going to comment, hey, I loved how you did that like really specific edit thing that you learned and did, you know?
Yeah.
And that's fine. But either way, essentially it's just like, yeah, the creative burnout and the challenge burnout has been real. So
it's just time consuming. Is what it is. It's
Yeah.
like when it comes to editing, it's like it's fine, and you do feel creative when doing it at times. Other times you don't, because you're just like you got to get through it. But it's the thought. It's like the thought of like for instance, like you know you got to go to work tomorrow, and it's a Sunday night, and you're like, oh, I got to go to work tomorrow, and you're just not looking forward to it. You after you do it right, you feel great. You got money. You've done the day, whatever. But it's the thought of doing editing to me that's like I've done it for over a decade now. Like I did for BBC, I did for Disney. I had all these clients coming back and go, for compliance, we need this change, this change, this change. And I've got to do an edit for Samsung, the Samsung video after this. And I'm not looking forward to it, not because I don't like the thing itself, the content. It's more the fact that I know that I've got to edit it myself and be like, okay, got to do this, and make sure it's all in place. And it just takes a lot out of your day and time. Now, this is a very little complaint, obviously, but I can understand completely why people get burnout from it, because it's the same thing every day. You're basically closed off in this room with just like the illuminated light of a computer on you. You're just like, oh, I just can't be asked. I can't be asked.
Yeah. It can be, and I think depending on the person, but I feel like most people would probably sympathize with this, that when you're editing yourself, it's like it's way different than like editing someone else's video. Because like when in the past, when someone's like commissioned me to make some panels or to make them a stinger or something like that, like I'm just like, oh yeah, awesome, yeah, no worries, I'll get started on it, and I get these ideas. Like my brain's so all of a sudden I'm thinking differently, because I'm thinking, you know, someone's like given me what they want for the thing that they want me to make for them, and so I'm working within the bounds, and all of a sudden I'm like, oh yeah, I could do this, and this fits, and this looks like, my brain just goes off, and then when it comes to making stuff for myself, I'm just like, yep.
I know. Yeah. That's it. It's easier to do like a fresh canvas, because you look at yourself in the mirror every day, you know what I mean? And you're just kind of like, I don't want to have to deal with that on a computer screen as well. I want somebody else's material, because they bring a whole different vibe and a different energy, and you get a different kind of creative outlet when you have to edit for them. Because for you, you know your vibe, you know your pacing, you know your reads, you know that. And it's just kind of like boring. So that's why I like handing off my edits of myself to another person, because they've got a fresh take. Me, I'm just kind of like, I'll revert back to the usual thing, and you know, it doesn't work as well. So I completely understand that.
yeah, I find that's a big one as well. I don't mind editing like a single joke of myself, right? Or like but I find that when I'm editing for myself, and by the way, before people say, oh, then why do you tell us to make videos? And it's like, there's a difference, right? Is I think with Nick and Reapz, you guys do still edit yourselves. I still edit myself. I've edited myself now for 2 years on SSN, and it's like at a certain point, you kind of are allowed to pass it off. You know what I mean? I've done my time. Let me pass it off. I'm going to pay someone else to handle it, right? You know what I mean? Like, if you've got, you know, if you're just starting out, you got to edit yourself. You know, that's part of it.
You need
right?
to learn the skill more than anything. If you don't know how to edit, learn it. It is going to be invaluable for you in the future.
Yeah. Here's the thing that I've been doing recently to reawaken enjoying editing. I've been watching all of Premiere Basic back to back.
Oh, nice.
They do these. I love Premiere Basic. Such a fun channel. Cinecom used to be one of my favorite channels when I was starting out.
Yeah.
And they're such a good channel, because it's like, oh, use this cinematic effect to boost views or whatever it is. And it's like a simple effect, but it's like the cinematic effect is literally just adding directional blur when you do a movement. And it's like, yeah, it is nice. You know what I mean? And it's just like watching those is fun. It's fun to reestablish the basics.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't know, man. I find that the TikToks is hopefully going to be a big enough change and a challenge that I won't be creatively burnt out anymore.
Yeah.
Right.
When are we doing that? September 15th is our start date?
September 15th is the day you have to post your first TikTok.
Okay.
And then, so that means it'll be 30 days after that. So, well, we'll just
October 15th.
October 15th.
So before we go to PAX, because PAX is happening in a month's time, boyos. We'll have to have a few on the back burner just to be released.
I mean, you can have your laptop on you. I don't know. Man.
Oh, you wanted to do work out at PAX?
I don't know.
I mean, possibly.
Wait, hey, we're gonna figure out what day we're gonna record as well. We're gonna do a live recording, right?
Yes, we are.
That would be that. Yeah, would be nice.
Yeah, I'll figure it out. Maybe we'll bring the Rode Procaster down. And plug some mics into it.
We just got to find I'm sure we can ask the people there. Can we just find a conference room that nobody's using?
I'm sure it'll be fine.
Yeah.
We'll figure it out. We'll go
get
from
it.
there.
But speaking of, because the whole reason why we did this podcast was the news of Burnout with Ninja and Pokimane. Who do we start off with?
Dude, okay, we gotta talk about Ninja because that shit's wild.
Yeah, I haven't seen it, but I've heard of it.
Neither have I. I haven't seen the actual clip.
So, a little bit of backstory, all right? Most people know about this because on Twitter, Ninja deactivated, right? Took his profile picture off, changed his name to be something like
user not found.
User not found, changed all of his stuff, made it not Ninja. And I'll get the exact specific wording of the tweet, but he wrote out a tweet that just said the words, I just need a break. I don't know when I'll be back. Right? That's all it was. But here's the thing. This was 6 hours after he tweeted out that he was going live with the words, big things are coming.
Oh.
Okay.
So and then, a ploy?
I don't know, but here's the thing. Then he goes live normally and does his best to have a really good stream.
Yeah.
But 2.5 hours in, he just rages out. And he says the words, fuck this or something. I think I'm going to paraphrase a little bit. He goes, fuck this. I can't do this anymore.
Right.
And he just shuts stream off. So I've just linked you the clip.
Okay.
Right? Rather than go over it all, you can just cut all that out. But I've just linked you the clip. And he's streaming with someone and literally just I'm done. I'm done. I don't know when I'll be live again. I don't know where I'll be live again. I can't do this anymore. I'm done. I'll talk to you later, man. And just leaves. Just pieces out.
All right, I'm watching it now. Hold on. It's 58 seconds. Let's see how it goes.
Can't do it anymore, dude. Can't.
What happened?
I'm fucking sick of this, dude. I'm sick of these fucking players spamming Riftigos every single. I've had enough, man. No, I'm not even fucking kidding, dude. I've had enough. I can't even. I'm not even. I'm leaving.
No way.
I'm done. I'm done. In fact, I'm honestly, dude. I'm not even gonna. I gotta take a break from streaming, dude. I'm gonna lose my fucking mind, bro. I'm sorry, dude. I know we were supposed to play all day. I can't.
It's all good, man.
I'm sorry, dude. I'll talk to you later, side. Chat. I don't know when I'm gonna be live, man. I don't know where I'm gonna be live next, but I gotta get off, man.
Reapz is enthralled to this.
This is crazy.
Reapz is gonna have to figure out how to edit this together. You'll make it good. You'll cut out a bunch of it and put it all together.
I love editing.
Okay, so he's just sick of Fortnite by the sounds of it. But
no, because if he was sick of Fortnite, he'd do something else. You know what I mean? I don't think he's sick of Fortnite. I think he's literally sick of streaming.
Yeah, he is. He says it at the end. He goes, I'm sick of I just can't stream anymore. I'm just over it. And I get it. I get it from his point of view because we talk about people can go Ninja's cringe and everything like that. The masterclass, definitely, completely understand. But at a time when 2017, cast your minds back to long ago, he was the shit. He was literally the guy carrying Twitch on his shoulders. He was the one that did those celebrity crossovers, which put it in the mainstream with Drake and everything like that. And you can imagine when you reach those heights and you're at the top and you're all by yourself, to now go into 2022, which is 5-6 years later, whatever it is, you're just kind of dude, is this my career for the rest of my days? Am I just going to stream? Or is there another avenue for me? Because what is Ninja's avenue after streaming? Is he a color commentator on a Fortnite event? Is he just a business mogul, freaking Nade Shot's doing with 100 Thieves? What's next for him? And I think he's at that point of what do I need to prove? Why am I going live? I've already made millions upon millions of dollars. What else have I got to do? I've done it. I'm set for life. Why am I doing this? Why are people trolling in my chat, trolling me in game? Why do I have to subject myself to this?
Yeah, I think it's really, really interesting when you watch that back. And maybe we'll chuck it in. I will remember, I commit to you guys, I will put this in the description of this one.
Okay.
That's not going to happen. But here's the thing, right? It's just so interesting to see it happen live.
Yeah.
Because I'll be real, there are days where I want to do the exact same thing.
Yeah.
Because I've said this 1,000 times, right? Live streaming you can go into it and having the best day ever, and just one person can just ruin your day, right? One person can just not understand that what they're saying isn't a funny joke. It's just them being a bit of a
Yeah.
like, and you're like, oh, cool. Yeah, great. I'm going to be able to recover from that for the next 3 hours after you just said that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's like, even if you're in the best mindset, right? And I couldn't imagine doing that for Ninja, where his audience skews much younger. They're much more trolly.
Yep.
You know what I mean? It's like, there are a lot of people who have TikTok and they post TikToks, and their TikToks are targeted towards a younger demographic. And I love them as a person, and I play with them, or I'll hang out with them and stuff, but I can't go in their stream because their chat is just so bad, right? Like, I know I know like a dozen creators like that, right? And not because of TikTok, just because they make content for a younger demo, right? And I just couldn't imagine being Ninja having to deal with that constantly.
You can see in that clip, you can see the exact moment where it's like whatever he was mad about in the game that was happening with the rift or whatever. But then just that exact moment in his face where he's just like, he just had that realization. I'm just sitting here every day playing this dumb game.
Yeah.
I hate this. I hate being live. It's like all in that moment.
It's death by like 1,000 pricks, you know what I mean? Because it's fine when you go into a stream and somebody makes a remark and you're like, you can brush it off, right? But when it's constantly over the space of a week or the however many hours you stream that day, people making the same kind of joke or things like that, and not realizing what they're actually doing to the streamer, because it doesn't add anything. It's more just the fact of like, you know, here's a backhanded compliment or insult or whatever it is. Haha, I'm funny. Me. You're just like, you're over it. You like for your quality of life, going online and just seeing digital text, like just throwing it at you in your face and then going, you're bad, bro. You're over. You're so yesterday or whatever it was. Like, I don't blame him. I honestly don't. No. Like, I'm just like, the fact that you've been doing it for however long, like 10 years now. Yeah.
You know what's really funny? The reason why I stopped doing collabs, I actually remembered why yesterday, Reapz. Here's the thing. I loved yesterday. It was fantastic. But two things happened which made me go, this is why I stopped doing collabs.
Okay, shoot.
And this is, I'm going to call you out a little bit, Jay Lovely, but it's not your fault whatsoever. Okay? I just got to say it.
Oh, yeah. I know this bit.
Two things happened. Okay? One person said, LJ, I've just looked at Reapz. When are you going to put effort into your stream?
What?
Right? And they were normal chatter, and they were making it as a joke, which is fine because the bans is there and they understand that. And
I'm literally at the bottom left of the script. Anyway.
But like, you had your whole studio at the time and everything like that.
Okay, right.
And so it's a very, you know what I mean? And like, I'm like, yeah, I don't like collabs because I hate being compared to other people, right? Like, it's my big thing. I hate being compared to other people.
Same, vice versa.
Like, it frustrates the shit out of me. And then the second thing Jay Lovely said, not the second thing they said, but the second thing that was said was by Jay Lovely. And they said to me, I'm only, at the very start of the stream, they said, I'm only here until Reapz goes live.
God,
and I was like, cool, thanks, man. I was like, yeah.
Dude.
And I said,
that's
not, I was like, I really appreciate, you know, maybe we don't make that joke. You know, it's a bit of a bad thing. Because that's that kind of thing that happens with collabs. That shit happens all the time. People compare, or they say, I'm going back to here, or as much fun as you are, I just want to be with this person. This person's way better.
I know. And you're like, you don't need to say that crap. Like, that's the thing. It's fine to have those opinions to yourself, but the fact is you don't need to share them. And I'm sorry for that, because I always had the same thing happen multiple times. Not in terms of the stream itself, but like over the sports collaborations.
It's not meant maliciously.
No,
right? And it's why I also just said to Jay at the time, like, maybe that's a bad example to set, right?
Yeah.
And again, I'm not complaining or talking about it. I'm more just bringing it up because it happens to everyone who collabs, right? Or at least it happens to me all the time, which maybe that says more about my content than anything.
I've had it happen on the occasion as well, where it's like someone has like said something along those lines, like, oh, I'm gonna go watch them because their angle is a lot better. It's like, okay, sure.
Yeah, thanks for telling me. That helps me. Doesn't help me at all. Just makes me feel crap for the rest of the stream. Thank you so much.
Legit, yeah. Because
I think people, when they look, we've talked about this in the past, when people look at a screen, right, they don't have that connection of like being there with the person in person. Like in terms of like, if you say that to them in person, I think something in your brain goes, this is inappropriate to say. Obviously, because you're staring them in the eyes. But when it's on a digital format where you're like thousands of kilometers away, you've just got this like anonymous kind of username, you can just type in anything that you want. It's so much easier to get away with in terms of like, oh, I don't care, but you're there to entertain me, vice versa. Yeah. And it's just so frustrating to hear that. Yeah.
I think it happens when people have been in streams it happens in two ways, right? There's the non-malicious way, which is, I think, kind of like the Jay Lovely way, where I a fantastic chatter, right? But because there's so much chat interaction and the comments here and other places like that, then it becomes like there's almost a rapport is built up.
Yeah.
And I find that sometimes when that rapport gets built up, sometimes those lines get blurry and like they'll say something because it's a rapport, but in reality it's like, oh, that hurt.
Yeah, and it does.
You know?
Yeah.
And it's like you don't want to make it a big deal, but you want to be like, hey, can we maybe not do that?
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Totally.
But because you don't want to make it a big deal, when it doesn't come across, you know what I mean? That you're saying like, please don't do that. You know?
Yeah.
And then there's the other type, and that is just people who, and this is what doesn't happen very often anymore, but it used to. They don't have that rapport built up, but they just don't understand what a shit thing to say it is. You know what I mean? And so like they'll join or they'll say something like, the same people who say things like, why do you have 170,000 subs, but you only have 80 viewers?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Or they'll say things like, how do you have 150 viewers, Reapz, but you've only got 30 guys joining your Fall Guys game?
Yeah, yeah.
And it's like for the love of God, I understand I know what's happening. You don't need to point it out to me and rub it into me. You know what I mean? And those are the two sides. The people who just like oblivious and then the rapport. And I find it's much harder to deal with people who I have a rapport with.
Yeah.
Because these ones I can make fun of. But these ones I'm like, you're a lovely chatter, and I just want to make sure you realize that that's probably not appropriate, but I don't know how to say it without making it a big deal.
Because they just this environment. Sorry, Reapz.
Go.
This environment of banter, right? So like they're used to it, so they think that I can be funny and make this comment. But a lot of these people don't realize they're not putting themselves in our shoes and realizing what that comment, what the weight that it actually holds. It's like no one wants to hear that, whether it's a joke or not.
Yeah.
It'll that sticks with you. It's like, and you try to brush it off. It's like a little dagger of the heart. It's like cool, cool. Yeah.
Also, like
It's kind of the Point Crow stuff.
Yeah.
Sorry,
Go
you
on.
go.
No. Go Point Crow.
It's kind of the Point Crow Small Ant stuff. So if anyone doesn't know, Point Crow and Small Ant were like really good friends, right? And they had a similar banter. Like Reapz and I have a similar banter towards each other. We kind of talk smack sometimes and that kind of thing. But one of the things that I'm not a big fan of is when the chat joins in and they don't realize that Reapz and I having the banter back and forth and calling each other shit. That's two guys who are making the content for entertainment. We're mates. We talk smack. That's what it is, right? Yeah. But we also have the other offset where we just generally chat normally.
Yeah.
But when it becomes the chat joins in or the community joins in, they often screw that line up because they're not friends, right? And this happened to Point Crow and Smant. They used to be really good friends. They did a rivalry, and it made it really good for both their growth. But then Point Crow started being like, hey, Smant, can we just completely stop doing the rivalry? Like, I just can't do the rivalry anymore. Your audience is just destroying my soul. Like, I can't do it, right? Yeah. And he was like, oh, yeah, sure. But then kind of kept the rivalry going, made a few tweets, you know, wrote back to a few Point Crow tweets, and then a few other things happened. I won't go into it. There's a whole VODs breaking it all down. But Point Crow kept being like, you got to stop, man. Like, you got to stop. To the point where he just completely said, I can't with you anymore. Like, I literally just can't stream with you. I can't make content with you. I'm sorry, dude. I can't even like be around you, right? To the point where they both had Subnautica streams planned. And Point Crow's, I think, was like a week earlier, or Smant's was a week earlier. But either way, they'd both put out schedules saying they were going to play it, right? Completely independently. And then when Point Crow was like, I loved my stream, but I can't turn it into a video because Smant's video came out first.
Yeah.
And he knew he would just be called a Smant copycat.
Yeah.
Right? And a lot of people insulted Point Crow for being overly sensitive about the stuff like that. And it's like, dude, tens of thousands, if not hundreds of thousands of comments are going to constantly be telling you that you're a copycat of someone else. Right? Like I made a played up video with you, Reapz. And then Ludwig released his last night. I didn't know Ludwig played it. And I'm like, great, I'm going to get called a Ludwig copy again.
Yeah. But it's the thing, isn't it? I think from the outside looking in when you're a viewer and you're new to streaming, like you don't stream yourself, but you want to dabble, you want to wet your feet in it. To them, they judge success on numbers. And that's whether it's followers, viewers, subs, whatever it is, they judge it on that. But when you're in the thick of it and you're a streamer yourself, you judge success on a completely different metric. And when people come into your stream and then tell you other metrics, because I had a time when it was like, I have a follower and they did their own stream. And I think they got a big old rate from somebody. I then had somebody from that stream come into my stream and go, X has more viewers than you at the moment. And it's like, that's great, but how does that help anyone other than the fact that you're just like, again, trying to have this stack of like success and what I should be trying to do. Because let's be honest here, when it comes to streaming, to succeed in streaming, it's very hard because it's a very niche thing. As much as we think it's the biggest thing in the world because we're doing it, it's not.
Yeah.
I would say a lot of people don't know what Twitch is. I would say not a lot of people know who XQC is. You know what I mean? But because we're in it, we know everything. And that's where you kind of get these litmus tests and these graphs and people like, I got to do this and that and the other. And it is soul training. Like people go, oh, you're always sick, Reapz, or something. You always feel burnt out, or you always say you don't have enough energy today. And it's like, yeah, because it really does take it out of you from time to time, doing it week to week in front of a camera each and every day and having to put on like a face and everything. It's full on.
I find that legitimately, like, something that's weird for me is that as I got bigger and more successful, I started to doubt myself more, which is so strange because you'd think as you got bigger and more successful, you would become more confident in the content you're creating because of the results you're producing.
Yeah.
But it was like, no, because as I got bigger, I had more and more people tearing me down.
Yeah.
And
they
it's like
want
one of
to
those
bring
things,
you down.
Yeah. Or like comparing me to others. You know what I mean? And like, again, I've said it before, I've said it 1,000 times. I hate being compared to other creators. Like I can't stand it. Right. Like, because it's like Reapz, like, for example, right, like being compared to you, Reapz, is like so different because we make very different styles, I find.
We're completely
we come
different
together and
streamers.
mesh well.
Yeah.
Yeah. But we do very different styles. And it's like, also we're focusing on very different things. You know what I mean? And we're different people. And just because you can compare our view count, you know, or stuff like that, or just because you like one of us better doesn't mean the other person's good or bad. And it's like, oh dude, I just wish you could do something without having someone be like, oh, hey, just a heads up. You got way less subs or way less viewers than X person today, or God, that person who you really like hanging out with. Yeah, if you hang out with them, I'm going to make you feel bad.
Yeah. Yeah. No, completely. It's just this weird back and forth that I feel like a lot of them have to tell you. And it's like, why? Why do you have to tell me this? Because again, people judge, as we said, on metrics. I've said this many times. I don't look at metrics. I don't look at my viewer count. I don't look at my subs. I don't look at after stream bloody ups and downs and graphs and everything. It's just not me. That's not who I am as a person. As long as I feel good with my stream and I can make enough money to get by, that's pretty much it for me. I'm good. I'm out.
Yeah.
But when people then have to put other things on you, it's like, why aren't you doing this? Why haven't you got this amount of subs? Why have you got 15,000 followers, but you've only got like 100 people watching you? And you're like, what can I say to that? There's nothing that I can say that will appease what you just asked me. And the thing is, I just want to say to people who are out there, if you want to watch a stream, watch the stream. Enjoy the content, talk about the content, but don't, please, for the love of streamers, all streamer kind out there, do not compare and contrast and juxtapose others because we don't want to hear it. It doesn't benefit us. We can't do anything about it. Just enjoy it.
Yeah.
So there's a comment on our last week's podcast, which, by the way, last week's podcast, it's got like 450 views in the first day. It's pretty fucking sick.
That's awesome.
Let's go to all you people out there. Thank you so much.
Yeah, and that's just YouTube. But and it's from Steph, and Steph's a really lovely SSN community member.
Yeah.
And they said, I was in your YouTube stream, LJ, and I could see and feel your soul slowly being destroyed. Lamau. While I was there, I saw the same question 15 times each. And it's obvious so many people never watched your other videos. And like, legitimately, that's such a good example of it, right? Is because people lack the ability to think of context, right? They look at a stream or they look at a creator and they only see what's in front of them. They don't think about the person as an individual, their goals, their focuses, the things they're changing, what they're doing, or like what could have been answered already.
Yep.
So it's like streamers know that your job is 90% of the time answering the same thing over and over again. Hey, what game is this? What's this about? What game is this? What's this about?
Can somebody get me up to speed on what's happened so far?
Yeah, you know, it's like that. Or, oh, why is he doing this today instead of X? I prefer Y. I'm gonna go watch X, you know? But the YouTube stream was that in a nutshell. Like it was people joining and then asking the same thing over and over and over and over again. And it legitimately did destroy my soul.
Yeah.
Right. Like normally normally with beginners and stuff like that, I'm very relaxed to the sense where I'm just like, hey, check this video out. I get it. You've not watched the backlog, right? But that stream was so brutal.
Yeah.
Because it would be like this. Hey, LJ, are you moving entirely to YouTube? No, just moving over once a month to do a stream scheme stream. We're going to do interviews, maybe some review thumbnails, and just relax a little bit over here. Not moving entirely. And I'd literally finish the sentence. And someone would say, and this isn't, I'm not exaggerating this. And I'd finish the sentence, someone would say, LJ, are you moving entirely to YouTube? And I'd be like, I literally at one point, I snapped a bit and I said,
Yeah.
I just answered that. I'm not talking like 5 minutes ago, man. I literally just said that. And he goes, I only just joined. I'm like, you mean you joined? The latency is like 15 seconds.
Yeah.
You wrote that message and I'm in the middle of saying, like, I know I'm in the middle of saying it. He goes, yeah, but I only heard the last half. I'm like,
That's the problems with being live, isn't it? That's the problems.
gosh.
You've got to. It's not a collective. It's sometimes individual, and you're like
YouTube, it is all individuals. There's no collective to YouTube.
Oh, God.
The YouTube stream, as fun as it was literally just a bunch of individuals wanting purely attention and my feedback and my thoughts and stuff like that. I had one guy submit his thumbnail 20 times while I was live because he wanted it to go through.
wow.
And I was like, I didn't say anything live because I was like, I don't want to do. I was just like, fuck me, man. Like,
Yeah.
I already had 50 to go through, and then it suddenly popped up to 70. I'm like, what the heck? And I looked, and it's like literally just the same guy. And I was like, Jesus, I can't. I just.
Do you do a ninja? You're like, I can't do this. I don't know when I'm coming back. I don't know when.
I wrapped, yeah. When I saw that, that's actually when I wrapped up.
Nice,
When I saw that, I
nice.
said, I go, all right, so I've answered like 6 or 7 thumbnails. I got a lot to go through, but I feel like we're kind of answering the same things now. So anyone who's submitted, I feel like you probably know where you can improve. And if I pull yours up, I'll probably give you the same feedback. So maybe just watch this VOD back if you're looking to improve, or there's these 2 videos I can link for you.
Yeah.
And then I wrapped up. But I literally, as I wrapped up in that YouTube stream, I thought to myself, 150 CCV, cool, that was good. You know, that was awesome.
Yeah.
But then I sat back in my chair and went, I'm not doing it again.
Right.
Yep.
Because again, as I've said for the last like 9 months, I don't give a shit about my average viewership. And I'm not motivated by the money of it.
Yeah.
It's literally just, I just want to make something I actually enjoy. I loved yesterday's stream, but I think my CCV was lower than normally is. My chatters were lower. Everything was lower.
Yeah.
But I had fun.
Yeah.
I've got a video that goes out this week, right? Called 2 Mistakes That Small Streamers Make. And a little bit of a leak because I think it'll go out before this podcast. Luckily. But I bring up Iron Mouse and I bring up Ambiguous Amphibian and I show how they both created content 3 years to almost no viewership, right? 3 years of Iron Mouse to less than 30 viewers, Ambiguous Amphibian 70 plus videos across 3 years before any of them saw success, right? And in it, I talk about the 2 major mistakes that new creators make is looking at other creators and judging them by their analytics, you know? Because it's such a bad mindset to spend all your time outwardly focused rather than inwardly focused.
Yes. Correct.
You know? And I feel like if someone had seen Iron Mouse or Ambiguous Amphibian, they would have thought they're failures.
Yep,
They're not
never
going
gonna make
anywhere.
it. Mhm. Yep.
Never gonna make it. And it's like, but like they blew the fuck up. They blew up, you know? And it's like, so I don't know. I know this has been a weird one, but like on the topic of Ninja and dealing with his chat and all those things and the burnout that creators go through. And I want to talk about Poki in a second because I think that heavily explains exactly my thoughts, right?
Okay.
But I don't understand how in any way I can be at 100 average viewers, CCV, legitimately 100 viewers, and yet I still feel like a failure and get called a failure
Yeah.
by people who have never gotten fucking affiliate.
Yeah. I know.
And
Yeah.
it's like, there's nothing wrong with not being an affiliate or not managing to get it, but why do I have to get bombarded with people being like, how do you have 32,000 followers, but you don't have, you know, thousands of viewers right now?
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Because they don't, again, it is about the individual and they look at success as numbers. And we know that that's not the case. We know from the outset that it is not the case in terms of numbers because you can look at some of the biggest streamers in the world. And obviously, if they started off with 0 viewers like the rest of us, you would call them a failure if you knew them in the early days. You're like, you'll never make it. You're going to be on the level. But of course, it takes time. And the biggest thing is you need exposure. Like if you don't get exposure, then you're never going to make it big. How do you get that exposure? By trying different avenues, by putting yourself out there. You're not going to get those views immediately, obviously. You just hope that it comes together. You hope that you get that opportunity. Right. And for them, it's kind of like, oh, I can do this. Like, I'll just do it out there. And then they start blaming other people for their lack of success. And so then they think, oh, because this is how I delegate in terms of how I'm going to be a success, this is how other people must delegate in terms of success by numbers. And you're like, no.
Yeah.
No, it's not. Just go for the content more so than anything. Like if I'm to stress any point, please focus on your content and yourself. Do not focus on what other people and what they're doing. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Understand trends. I get that. But do not tell them numbers and stats and you'll never do this, or compared to this person who's completely different streamer, you're not doing this. It's just so frustrating. And I'm hopefully speaking on behalf of all streamers out there.
I think you
that
are.
deal with this, because it's just like, stop and think for a second. Yeah.
You know what's a really good example of this before we move on? The Phasmophobia stream you and I did, Reapz.
Yeah.
Phasmophobia stream that Reapz and I did, it was a nighttime for you. And I think you had like 70 to 80 average, which is
Maybe
like low
less.
for you.
Yeah.
right?
It
Maybe
was a
less,
different stream. Yeah.
But yeah, and so you did it nighttime, right?
Yeah.
Whereas I was on the ANZ front page. So
Yeah.
I had like 900 viewers.
Yeah.
Right? That entire night, I had people joining being like, 900 viewers, LJ, what happened? You're amazing. You're doing so well. Popping off, right? And everyone's like loving it. But like if you actually looked at that stream and then you looked at my bachelor party stream with the wheel, which had 110 average, right?
Yeah.
If you compared those two and showed people, you said, hey, here's one where I got 900 average. Here's one where I got 110 average. Which one do you think is better? They're all going to say the 900, right? All of them.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Exactly.
But the reality is that 900 viewer stream had like 180 unique chatters, which I can usually work out. If 180 unique chatters, I probably only had about 90 viewers, right? Right. And then if you looked at the other one, the Bachelor one, 330 unique chatters, and I made like 400 USD.
Yep.
And I had more follows, like 60, 70 follows.
Yep.
You know what I mean? Like, everyone looks at that view count and loves to talk about how good you're doing when it's up and how shit you're doing when it's down. But none of them have the analytics behind the scenes. You know, the Phasmo stream also became a video, which is awesome.
Yep.
But the Bachelor party, that became a video as well and did way better.
Yeah.
Right. And it's like, oh, I just wish, and we're complaining to the preachers of the choir, right?
Yeah, that's true. We're complaining to people who are streamers, I would guess,
So
are listening.
I guess we talk about Poki instead, because that's pretty much her entire video announcing this was about this.
Yeah.
Like she said that she'd been a content creator since she was 17 and that she's lived her entire life live streaming. And she said live streaming, even for her, is still such a competitive space. She said 8 hours a day, 5 days a week. And then she went down to 8 hours a day, 4 days. And you have to be live to compete with the next person. Go a little bit longer than the person next to you. You know what I mean? And like, it feels so rough to listen to her talk about it, because despite the fact that I'm nowhere near her size, I just related so heavily to everything she said. Because I was like, I don't want to stream 8 hours a day.
Yeah.
Like, I don't want to go live for 8 hours and do the XQC level and stuff like that. Like Ludwig does that, but he also makes his videos.
Yeah.
And it's like, he's built so different for that. Like, I am not the guy who wants to be like, I want to be live for like 4 to 5 hours. I want to make some content, have some laughs, and I want to walk away from it. And I don't want to be worried about the fact that because I ended early, I didn't get all the raids that I could have got.
Yeah.
But I feel like that's what you have to do. You got to ride the trends and stay live longer and grind longer. And
that's a really good point, because when I did my the subathon stream, right, I never really go live over, say, 6 hours or so. Like, that's just my usual thing, right? Then when I went over 6 hours, I got so many more raids, and which of course boosted your CCV. And because, there's dead viewers anyway, but they're still in your stream because they're sleeping or whatever it is, lurkers. And it just went up and up and up and up. So I can understand the people who go out there and stream for 10 to 12 hours, because it is a tactic. It's a tactic to get more raids into your stream, because I've seen when they start off, these people who go for 12 hours and they start off, they don't have the greatest in terms of like viewership straight off the bat. But then later on, when it gets to the 6 hour mark, they're like, God damn, it's through the stratosphere if you're judging it on that, right? And I just didn't realize that was a tactic that people have to go for that long and grind for that long. For me, in and out. 4 to 6 hours, I'm done. Hope you enjoy the content. But I could not do that. I just think I would be miserable. And I guess it's the thing of like, how much you have to be paid to be miserable. Millions of dollars, like, Ninja said. And even then, and Pokimane, they're like, yeah, I'm miserable, so I'm just going to have a bit of a hiatus. Even though I know it's going to be a hit, I'm just going to go on a bit of a hiatus because I need it. And I think that's such a wise thing.
Bet you so many people who are like, the same people we're complaining about that are like, have so much focus on these numbers. They're going to be the same people going, oh my God, like, oh, look at it. Like, she's got all these viewers. She's making all this money. Oh, look at her whinging. Like, they're going to have that same mentality.
Dude, I made a post. I shared our episode of SSN where we talked about Poki on the hiatus. We talked about it a month ago when she first went on hiatus.
Yep.
And I shared that on SSN and said, hey, we talked about this a month ago, and some of what we said is actually accurate and correct. Any creators out there who want to be streamers, you should check this out and listen to this and also watch Poki's video, because she's taking a step back for reasons you'll probably end up wanting to do too.
Mm-hmm.
The comments on that post, I had to delete the post.
Yep.
Because the comments on that post were so toxic.
Really?
People being like, what a whiny little bitch. Or like people being like, who cares what she says? Or wow, she's upset that she's got thousands of viewers. She wouldn't be successful if she didn't have the simps. Like, and I'm listening to all this. I'm like, don't fight back. Just delete the post. Don't fight. Don't argue with them. Just delete the post. Just delete the post. I don't want to deal with this.
Mm-hmm.
Like I was so frustrated reading it and listening to it. I was like, I physically cannot with what I'm reading right now.
Yep.
And here's the problem. I reckon if it wasn't Pokimane doing that video, if Ludwig made the video bar for bar, people would be like, pop off, King. You're so strong. Thanks for talking about mental health. Keep it up.
Take that break.
One of the biggest creators, top 50 creators coming out here and talking about this like this. So good. You do take your 3 days without a set schedule and be the best you can. But Pokimane does it. Everyone's like, I don't give a fuck what you say.
Yeah.
All right, woman.
Yeah.
And it's like so frustrating, dude. That post sent me. Like I've already been pretty quick to be frustrated over the last like few months, right? And I'm getting a bit more relaxed lately because I'm actually enjoying myself again. But legitimately, that post absolutely sent me. Like I was so frustrated about it. Like I'm doing a video soon called "Is it really easier to grow as a female streamer?" And like I've screenshotted a bunch of the comments that were put on that post because I want to show them off and be like, this is a female streamer who's been doing this non-stop since she was 17. She's now 25 or something like that.
She's 26 or something. Yeah, I think it's been
26,
nearly 10 years she's been doing it. Yeah.
Nearly 10 years or something like that. She's been doing this. 8-hour streams, feeling like you got to put the pressure on, having thousands and thousands and thousands of people constantly giving you feedback that you don't want. You don't need it, right? About your appearance, your hair, calling you a racist because you let your hair be actually curly. She's Moroccan and that's like what happened.
Yeah.
And it's
I
like,
read that post. That was wild.
Yeah.
and it's like, yeah, no wonder she's like saying to people, hey, I'm probably only going to be live 2-3 days a week. I'm not going to give you a schedule. I'm only going to stream what I want.
Yep.
I'm not going to push myself. Like, no wonder she's doing that with everything how people act.
And she doesn't have to do more. Like, I don't think people feel like they have to, like these content creators have to answer to them. Like, oh, if it's not good enough for me, then everyone else should feel like kind of pissed off that they're not doing their usual 4 days a week or whatever. And it's this like weird kind of like exclusivity narrative that they're the ones dictating what's right and what's wrong. And it's so frustrating because I think a lot of people out there, they have the struggle to become successful. And then there's the people who are successful, they've got the struggle of being in the public eye, right?
Yeah.
So whatever they do is always going to be commented on. Like I reckon they can't even go out of the house without having someone go on the street. It's like, oh, you're Poki and stuff. And I'm sure that's great at times, but also like, I'm sure there's days where you're just like, I don't want to be seen. I just want to go about my day. Don't have to worry about this internet fame and just do what I do. Because I guarantee you, if you're at the top, it's lonely up there and you'll only have a fraction of the people who you can kind of relate to in terms of what's going on. We talked about the swatting last week. We've talked about in terms of all the abuse and the trolling and everything being called a racist that Pokimane has to deal with. And it's kind of like, where is the sweet spot? Is there a sweet spot when it comes to it? It's either you're either all in or you're all out, and there's no in between, and it's so hard to balance it.
That's why a lot of people are preferring to use a VTuber model because they can just hide their physical appearance, and so they can actually go out to the point. I forget this creator's name. They're a large VTuber, but they even hide their voice. They use a speech to text to speech.
I know who you're talking about. She was on. Is it Mammy? Oh, she was on Iron Mouse's talk show recently, but she's great. Yeah.
So even so, I think I first discovered her from from Anthony Padilla's video where he interviewed her, just like wild. Like she just wanted to have that complete separation from
It's Zentreya.
Zentreya, that's it. Yeah,
Zentreya, and she's also hilarious.
very funny.
She's honestly so funny. Her comedic timing, even with text to speech, is wacky. Like everything will be quiet, and then you'll just hear her in a collab in the background, just be like, "What the fuck, dude?"
It's like I don't know what exact program she's using for it, but it's very accurate. It's rarely it rarely messes up, which is pretty cool. But yeah, she talks about how she wanted complete animosity, just for in the online space. Like she wanted to be able to live her IRL life completely separate, like no crossover whatsoever. And not so. Yeah, like she'll be able to go take a break. She'll be able to go walk outside, go do whatever she wants, and not have anyone recognize her. But a lot of these other creators, they're putting themselves out there completely. They're gonna be
their full names like Ludwig Aaron. Like it's like out there to the world.
Aaron?
Agrin, sorry.
Yeah.
Ludwig
Agrin, sorry, I did think. But very quickly, Nick, I just went to see who this Zentra is, and literally her second, 2 tweets ago, she says, "Sorry guys, taking one more day off. I really need this, and I'm sorry. These 3 days have been a bit rough. I'll be back tomorrow to stream. Thank you." So you can also see when it comes to tweets, when people go, "I need a day off," it's like you have to show that it's not like, "Oh, I'm just taking a day off." It's like, "I'm so sorry, everybody. I'm really sorry. I'll make it up to you." I know that I do that as well. I'll make it up to you. Like there's this beholden nature when it comes to the people who are viewing you, that it's like, you've got to just make sure that they're okay with you taking time off, and you feel guilty when you do. So continue on.
Yeah. Oh, I mean, actually, speaking of which, I this past week, I've been having constant internet drops. As well. Like I had internet drops for all streams this week. And
was that you? No, because I think that's the Amazon servers. It might not be you, dude.
No, it was me.
It happened to me yesterday. Oh,
no.
Okay.
This was internet.
Okay.
This is not just Twitch stuff. This was my internet.
Oh, okay.
NBN shenanigans, love it. Yeah. So like, and I couldn't help just feeling so apologetic. And I'd say that I was like, "I'm so sorry, guys. Like it sucks. This is out of my control, and you're just wanting to sit there and entertain your audience, and you want to have fun playing games with them, but there's nothing you can do about it, and it ruins the viewer experience as well, and like it can significantly have an impact too. I was very lucky that like a lot of the viewership did hold as well. Like people were like my community is freaking awesome. Like they were kept keeping the chat active and trying to keep people there, which was fantastic. And eventually the net would come back after the dropout. But yeah, like I'm starting to see those effects of like the dropouts like settling in now. So I'm trying to like sort of build myself sort of back up again. But it has been rough. There was actually a great moment where I'm like, "Man, I really love Aussie broadband, but NBN freaking sucks." And then the net cuts out.
Yeah.
They muted you off stream immediately.
It's so funny, right? Because what you're saying there, that's literally what happened in February, right? I finished that Arceus. It was like I was playing Pokemon Arceus, and that's when the fault in my neighborhood started. And those first few times where there were issues, hilarious stuff, right? They were so delayed that I would say like, "Hey, chat, what's 1 + 1?" And then 5 minutes later, they'd all go 2. You know what I mean? And it was so much fun, and I didn't lose any average viewers. I still had plenty of subs. It was so much fun, right? But by the 4th or 5th time, it's not fun anymore, right? And it was like I'd spent 2 years almost having this amazing routine, getting stuff done, knowing what I had to do, being able to power through no matter what, and enjoying myself, and my community liked it too. And being thrown off that routine was enough to throw me off the entirety, right? Yeah. I couldn't go live like a month later because like I still internet issues, it kept happening, and it just threw me off so fucking much. Like, and I've talked about this at length. I'm not going to go into it again, but like it's super, super interesting, isn't it? That like all it takes is one little thing, one little thing outside of your control to go on a little bit too long, and that routine is ruined, and it just goes from there. Like you can see it on my Twitch tracker, because on Twitch tracker you can see like people's how consistent they are, and you can literally see like I'm so consistent for like a good 2 years. I miss every now and then, sometimes I start canceling because I'm sick and stuff like that.
Of course,
but it's like it literally is like February, I'm still super consistent, and then March hits, I'm gone.
Yeah,
like legitimately, like it's like, oh wow, LJ did 2 years in full where he barely missed streams other than like being sick here and there or like taking a week off for Christmas. February is almost entirely, it's all Pokemon Arceus and stuff. And then March, nope, he's gone. Oh, May, oh, he's gone. June, oh, he's gone. June, he goes live 4 days because of the issues. Right? July, I was live like 6 days because of the issues and stuff like that. And because the issues were now that I was sick or that I just didn't have the confidence to do it anymore.
Yeah.
And it's only August where I've actually been live for like an entire month again.
Yeah.
Right. And it's because I changed my schedule. I said, fuck it, I can't do this anymore. I'm just going to go to daytime where I'm healthier and happier.
Yeah.
And it's just like, it's just so interesting to see my Twitch tracker and just see like March through to July and just like the internet issues starting this cascading effect of like, I physically cannot go live without wanting to like end stream and just quit everything.
Yeah.
Like, it's like, why bother going live? My content's going to be laggy, or my content's going to be shit, or my chat's going to be super quiet tonight because I lost half my viewers because 3 months of internet issues.
Yeah.
Like, you know, it's just super, super, super interesting to see that. And again, that's another thing that we talked about earlier. Viewers don't have that context, right? They don't have the context that I've moved to daytime or that I had 6 months worth of issues. They just have the context of, LJ, why is your view count X?
Yeah.
You know, and it's like, well, go look at the Twitch tracker and you see, oh, LJ's just not consistent. He's just being lazy. It's like, no, you know? And I think that's why Poki and Ninja and giant creators are burning out and piecing out, is because streaming is such a brutally demanding thing. And you have so little control over what gets said to you, what gets said about you, how long you're live for, what kind of people rock up that day. And it comes back to that 1% shit sandwich we talked about, you know?
Yep. And especially recently as well, like I've been having a lot of fun sort of brainstorming like videos that I want to make. And then like in the in the process of like recording those as well. And then the prospect of, you know, getting all these videos out and then doing like, you know, like other stuff, like it's exciting. And, you know, being able to have the ability to do that and then stream on the side, like that's, and we've talked about this before, like we don't want streaming to be purely the only thing that we do.
Yeah.
We want to have those other avenues, like the avenues that like are more stable, especially monetarily, not because we care about like, you know, like, we're greedy. It's like, we just want a stable income to be able to support ourselves. Like that is the goal of it all. So it's unsurprising. And then you look at these big creators, they've got plenty of money. Like they're fine, but they're going through the same issues.
Yeah.
Did I tell you boys that I got called a coward? I think I told you this maybe last week. I'm not sure. But I was talking to a creator who I really respect. And I said to them like, oh yeah, you know, I don't do X, or I don't do Y, or I don't really do like these things. And they were like, and I was like, oh, I just want to do the right by everyone. And they were like, yeah, you know, you shut up. You're just a coward. And I was like, because I was talking about sub goals.
Yeah.
And how I don't do sub goals because I don't want to take it, you know, or like I don't do like big events because I feel like maybe it's this or that, or I don't do merch because it's this or that. And they were just like, you're just scared you're going to fail. Just be honest. You know, just be scared you're going to fail. And I was talking to a mate of mine who I've known since I was 2 years old, right? And I said that this guy said this to me and I was laughing, and he goes, and he didn't laugh while I was saying it because we were in a Discord call. We were playing Destiny. And he just said, he's right. I've known you long enough now. He's right.
Right.
He was like, I knew you in uni when you weren't worried about failing and you just did whatever you wanted. It's like the last year you've just gone, oh no, I don't want to do that for X reason. I don't do that for Y reason. I want to do the right thing here. I'm not going to do that. I'm going to do that. And now you just don't do anything because you're worried it's all going to go wrong or be misinterpreted or someone's going to have a go at you. And he's spot on. You know why? Because since the Twitch exclusivity stuff changed, I have had a video completely finished, sitting unlisted, that I haven't pushed live because I'm worried people will misinterpret it.
Right.
This could be, I could have dropped that video and had huge traction, huge views day one after the exclusivity stuff went, but it has been sat there in my unlisted because I physically and mentally cannot push it live without worrying about having to deal with the comments.
Gotcha. That's scary, isn't it?
It could have been like, dude, thousands, tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands of views on that video, right?
Yeah.
And it's just sat there. It's called Twitch is finally helping small streamers grow, right? Because my take on the whole thing is you should be using TikTok, live streaming, and multi-streaming, right? But of course, I make fun of affiliates begging for the changes too, despite having the changes already. And like, I make fun of a few things, and I show off some Twitter screenshots of people writing things like partner, blur, you know? And I'm just sat there like, I could have had so many more subs and so many more views.
Yeah.
But I also probably would have had that 1% worth of comments just being idiots, right? You know, even my last video where I don't even have a hot take, I just tell people to use community polls if you're a new YouTuber, is just destroyed from people saying new YouTubers don't have the community poll because you need 500 subs, you know? So I think I'll probably make the thumbnail today properly and like update it and push it out. But It's wacky, dude.
Yeah.
It's really
I was
wacky.
gonna say it's like, yeah, you've kind of like, obviously it's not the most opportune time. Like you kind of miss the best timing for it. But just rip that band-aid off. Just put it. You made the video. Put it out.
Yeah, but I'm there like last night, like looking at it, and I'm like, oh, maybe I should push it out right now. Maybe I'll just push it out right now. And I'm like, no, I'll write a comment on it being like, sorry for being, if this comes across wrong, or sorry if I got something wrong, or like I'm writing these like replies to my pinned comment, and I'm like, no one's gonna read this anyway. I'm just gonna get the comments of people talking shit no matter what, right? Like, you know, and it's like, it's just like, I don't know. I'll probably push it tonight, like as we're recording this, I'll probably push it tonight. But at the same time, it's just like,
yeah, you're worried about not the damage control, because there's no damage. It's more just people coming in and saying their 2 cents because they feel they need to.
Yeah, and also just the fact that anytime you talk about a topic that is misunderstood, no matter how much context you give, people are going to like call it out, right?
Yeah.
Or if I make it like in it, I make a joke. I say at the start, I go, and there are time codes in the description, so you can skip ahead to whatever part of this video you want, and then miss half the context and go to Twitter and share it without full context. And then I show my own tweet, right, as a joke, being like, look, because I'm kind of doing that with my tweet, but I know people are going to not realize that.
Yeah.
Right? And they're going to be like, your tweet does this. And I'm like, no shit, Sherlock. Like, that's why I show that when I say that, you know?
Yeah, you've got to push it out, though. You can't worry about the people who are going to talk, because they're going to talk regardless. Even if you go like, I like ice cream, people will be like, how could you like ice cream when the dairy produce is like it is? You know what I mean? There's always going to be a different side to it. As long as you're pushing it out to the people that you know that you want to reach, I think that's what you've got to go for. You can't worry about the little people who, in terms of, by little people, I mean those who are very petty and feel like they have to tear down what you're saying just because of that fact. You can't worry about them, because again, we stream, and as you know, you always get people coming in. It's like, why aren't you getting X viewers? Why aren't you doing this? And it's just like, just swipe them off.
Everyone's had such weird takes on it, and I feel like my take on it is very different. Like Devin Nash's take on the whole change was, you're all wrong. You could all already do this, including partners. Right. This isn't a good thing. Twitch isn't being nice to you. Then Harris Heller's take was talking purely about monetization. And like the 50-50 partner split is going to be like a new thing that everyone deals with. And I'm like, dude, for the last like 3 years, every partner has been given that, right? There's no, unless you're giant and you're doing it. And even then, most people still 50-50, right? Even Point Crow is still 50-50. Right? Like, and like he was talking about how, you know, all these things, it's bad, and Twitch is flailing and they're trying to give people a chance to try something out while not losing all the subs. Because his thing was, if you're going to move to YouTube, you lose partner and affiliate, which means they lose all the sub money they're getting. Whereas if you are able to go stream on there without losing partner, you can keep all those subs of people who forget to unsubscribe. Right? Which that's fine. That's one take, right? But he never really breaks down, and this isn't a go against Harris, but like that's his take, but he never breaks down what this actually means for small creators, like what they can use this for. And my entire video is me going, here's the old rules, here's the new rules, here's the misinformation and the confusion that came from it, and then here is my big takeaway about who this matters for and how small creators can use this.
That's great.
Right? And like that's my thing. But I just know it's going to be full of the comments being like, well, X person said why, and this is Twitch being desperate. And you can see even scripting it how scared I was. Because I watched it back last night and I literally say this, I go, Devin Nash says X. Rather than argue about whether that's right or wrong, let's instead say that most partners thought we couldn't stream on other platforms, right? And then later in the video, I'm like, and so now we can go live here, or at least we can go live now confidently. You know what I mean? Like I'm constantly having to add context. And near the end, I go, people are saying Twitch is failing, you know? But to me, this seems like a lot of big dick energy to say you can go try out somewhere else and then come back because we know our product is better. And whether or not that is a bluff is true or not, that's at least how it comes across to me. And I want to hear from you. But I'm like adding all this context and care because I'm just so like,
well, I mean, Twitch viewers are lethal at times. You know that, like, and that's what they're there for. And especially because I think a lot of people who do watch, obviously, the channel are those who want to be successful in the streaming region, rather than those who are like, oh, I just like Twitch. I just want to know more about their inner workings. You know, it's people who are small streamers, and of course, they've got a lot to say because they're not getting the recognition that they believe that they deserve. So, hence. Comment. And
well, I deleted that tweet, by the way. The exclusivity change tweet.
Oh, really? What?
I deleted it. It had like 400 likes or something like that.
Yeah, it was popping off.
But I like specifically deleted the tweet because I didn't want to have to keep reading all the shit.
Right.
Yeah.
Like I just felt like I was reading all this shit of people just being like, you're misconstruing the information.
Right.
And I'm like, how am I misconstruing the information? I put the FAQ in the document.
Literally there.
Right? Like, the screenshot is from the actual page. I can't screenshot the entire page because then no one's going to read any of it. I just screenshotted the top paragraph of the changes. And it's like, I don't know. I deleted that because I just couldn't personally
deal with it.
I couldn't keep getting the comments of it anymore because like I didn't want to keep replying to people saying, have you read the FAQ?
Yeah.
And so, I don't know.
Yeah.
But like that's again, this is all part of the whole burnout section, right? As a creator, this is the stuff you got to like deal with this and push through this and be confident in this stuff, and it's all very strange.
Yeah. I mean, speaking of burnout, I think a big thing for me at the moment was I had an opportunity to go over to Germany for GamesCom with Samsung, right?
Yeah,
And that was like a great thing.
How was Germany?
I was welcome. I'm going to just get slammed in the comments. So basically, I got an opportunity to go with Samsung to go to Gamescom because they're releasing this big gaming screen called the Odyssey Arc, right? And so it was great. I was like, I'm so excited. But in the back of my mind, when I got the call, because I was supposed to do this show called Pogpix here on Twitch, which is like a kind of variety show with the amazing people at Back Pocket and stuff like that. And I already signed the contract with them. And I was like, listen, I've been given this opportunity via Samsung. I would still love to do it. But of course, I've signed the contract with you and I'm going to do Pogpix. But I'm just letting you know that I have this opportunity. What do you feel? They literally wrote back. This is the Twitch ANZ staff saying, mate, go for the Germany thing. This is huge. They were so nice to me. Like, even
ANZ
though I was
staff
like,
are amazing, aren't they?
So good. So good. So I was like, thank you so much. Of course, I can still do it in Germany if you'd like me to be on Pogpix, because I was going to do a remote thing anyway. And they're like, no, focus on that. It's going to be a lovely time. And I was like, thank you. I got lots of stories about going over to Germany, but the main thing that I wanted to take away from it was the fact that in the back of my mind, I was always worried about taking time off from streaming, because even a week it can be a lot. And I felt that as well, because I did the week in Germany. I did all the things that I could at Gamescom. I did all the footage. I played on the Arc. I've got all which is what I'm going to edit after this. We talked about editing. Got to edit the thing to make sure that I've fulfilled my contractual duties and stuff like that. And then when I came back, literally when I was in Cologne, actually, I got this message from Twitch saying, would you like to be a caster for Twitch Rivals at Dreamhack? And I was like, I also want to be a caster. But again, that's more time away from stream in terms of, yes, I did stream at Dreamhack, but it was a crap stream. It was 2 hours. I looked terrible. It was just...
No, dude, that was... You streamed at Dream... What, you talking... Oh, sorry, you mean the stream... Sorry, I thought you said at Gamescom. I was going to say your IRL Gamescom stream
was fun.
Amazing.
It was so fun.
It was actually probably one of my favorite streams you've ever done.
Yeah,
because
it was a lot of fun.
Also, just like throwing random shit in your chat was so good. I was like... every time Reapz walked past the Sega one, I was like... Oh, watch out! Sonic fans are there. It's, you know.
I'm sad I missed it, but I got given a little bit of a like. Someone came in, I think the day after, my next stream after that. You did that IRL stream. And it was like, they're like, oh Nick, did you see like Reapz' IRL stream at Gamescom? I was like, no, I missed it. And they're like, oh, it was great. They were making fun of you. I was like, wait, what? Really? They're like, yeah. And it was just, they were going like, oh, you know, like nerd stuff, Nick nerd stuff.
That's right. LJ was like, find the Yu-Gi-Oh stuff, and then called Nick a nerd. And then was everyone called Nick a nerd. It was all LJ. It was all LJ.
No, you said, hey, look, there's Yu-Gi-Oh! Can everyone say in chat, Nick's a nerd? And so me and one of my mods both wrote Nerdtacular with a little nerd emoji.
Oh, that's right. Yeah. Nerdtacular. Yeah.
But okay, my favorite part about that was Reapz was clearly like trying to focus on everything that was going on. And he was just showing people off. And he goes, look, guys, anime figures, check this shit out. And he was like showing all the things and stuff like that. And I was like, oh, Reapz, look at that top cabinet over there. And he walked away and he goes, wait, you want to see something? Hey, I'll show you something. Just like trying to make sure the activity's there and showing stuff off. And he goes, this one? I go, at the bottom? No. Go up, one more over. And it just like pans up and you literally just see giant anime titty figurine that I was trying to make him look at. And you see it for like a split second, right? And he goes, all right, no. And like moves away because he's clearly watching through his phone, not like in general.
I'm watching through my phone, not through the thing.
And a staff member appears in chat and goes, I didn't see nothing.
That's right. It was D-Dog. It was so good.
Yeah. And then literally a second set of figurines pops up and I go, hey, Reapz, what's that in the bottom one there? And he just pans down and he goes, oh no!
Nick, I'm not joking when I say like they're on a delay, first of all, and I'm like swishing the camera around as I'm showing everything, right? And you see the panel with all the figures in there for about a split second. Somehow LJ has a photographic memory and is like, can you go over to that previous one down the bottom left? Like I didn't even notice. And then as soon as I go down the bottom left, it's just, like the most pornographic,
really
let's just a 7-day ban for that figurine. Yeah.
No, star favoritism.
Yeah.
Star favoritism.
Bad me. I'm known as the bad boy of Twitch. But it was crazy because I went through this like whole area where it's like, you can buy all your figurines and stuff like that. And they also had like plushie dolls. And one of the stands was just a giant cock, like just multiple giant penises. And I was like, well, I've got to switch past this. You can't blame me for this. So I switched past and it's just like penis, because it's
There was
Germany,
like 30 clips on your channel after that swish, by the way. I want to point this out, is someone said, I clipped it. And I was like, oh, okay, I'll go see it because I looked away.
Yeah.
So I went and pulled up your clips section and it was like, all of the latest clips hadn't been named and they were all the fucking swish of you going past the cock.
I warned them. I was like, I got to switch past this. I can't really do it. So yeah, it was good fun. That was one of the highlights for me. It was like just walking around, seeing all the things, and it was great. Like basically the reason why I was there was obviously I need to do tweets, I need to do some stories, I need to do some TikToks, I need to do some videos and just things like that. So I was there and I played with all the screens, all the different screens, and then I talked to the Samsung people who were super, super duper nice and went out to like a concert afterwards, like, yes, I'm young, that type of shit. It's like, yeah.
Oh, hello, fellow kids.
Yeah, I was like, sipping on Metamucil at the time. It was real good. And so did that. But the worst thing was the journey. 30 hours there, 30 hours back. Don't get me wrong. It was great. I was in business class. It was fantastic. On the way there, though, I was seated in front of a woman who I would say had the cough of a death rattle. Like I'm talking, it was heinous. I've got the clip somewhere where you can hear. Let me see if I can find it for you.
No, you can just insert it in
I'll
the edit.
insert it, but it is horrendous. 14 hours of that, right? They had to get oxygen for this lady on the flight. So there's all these people gathered around this seat behind me as I'm trying to be like, I'm trying to enjoy business class, people. Like sipping on my alcoholic beverage and like using the thing to like hover down into a bed. It was horrendous in terms of that, but it was a great opportunity. But the thing is, like when I went to Dreamhack, and this is what I'm so excited for when we come to PAX, the vibes down there, bro, was just fantastic. Not because of the events going on, but just seeing streamers talk to other streamers. It was just so cool. And this is why I'm so excited for PAX, is that we can do this in real life. In terms of the casting itself, it's great to put on the resume, was on Twitch Rivals, casted for Twitch Rivals, like a good thing. I enjoyed it. I think I did a decent enough job. Hopefully in the future I can do more of it. But it's also the fact that
I've to do that shit.
Pardon?
Yeah. That's one of the big things that I'm jealous of you. I would love to do casting.
Yeah, casting's a lot of fun.
There's something so fun about the idea of doing casting and so relaxing. So I have this plan that I want to do, right? Where I'm going to pick 8 ANZ streamers and I'm going to make them play Pummel Party, similar to what the ANZ battle was, right? And I was like, okay, do I want to play in that? Or do I want to have like me and Reapz watching that and commentating it and cast it?
Yes.
And I was like, I think I want to commentate it.
It's so much more fun.
Like, because I'm not worried about my chat then. Instead, I just pop between everyone's chats and stuff like that. But sorry, keep going about Dreamhack.
Yeah, no. That was the thing though. It's because obviously I've got these cans on, right? And I've got like, the talking. And my voice isn't only going out to the channel, it's going through the stadium. And I'm like, fuck. This is crazy because before I was with Aussie Antics, who's like now in NRG. He's over in America, killing it on the Fortnite scene, doing commentary for them. And they're like, okay, Reese, because you've done this a few times before, you're going to be the lead now. So I've got people in my ear going, okay, we're cutting to Melbourne, cut to this. Okay, start with the format, go here. And then there was a moment where I was with Miss MDK, who's a fantastic streamer, lovely person, great caster.
I love MDK. She's brilliant.
MDK is fantastic. Her mic cut out. So she's just like, and then I was just like, right? Just cuts off midway through. And I'm just staring at it going, And you can hear in the earphones, it's like, shit, we need a new microphone. Okay, Reapz, we're going to need you to vamp. So I had to vamp about Dodgeball, because we played Knockout City, for about legit 3 to 4 minutes of just talking continuously, not knowing what the fudge I was saying and just going for it. Like literally, I just went over the format. I was like, balls, dodgeball references, who the players are, where they're from. Please go follow all this thing. Like in the background, it's like it's Subathon. Go do the thing for their September. Sorry, I meant to say do September.
Yeah.
And it was just like this baptism of fire, but it was so worthwhile at the end of it. Because I'm talking for like 3 to 4 hours nonstop.
Yeah.
We had about a minute break in between each session, a 3-minute break in between each session. But it was just so cool seeing all the people on stage, people in the stadium, like watching them. And I'm excited for PAX because I know that it's going to be more of a good vibe and I'm going to spend more time there. So boys, it's less than a month away and I'm pumped. I'm really pumped.
So
I'm
excited.
super, super keen for it. I like legitimately, like I'm just keen to, again, just do something new, chat to people, hang out, do things like that.
Yep.
But yeah, I watched some of your commentating as well for the knockout stuff. You knocked it out of the park.
Oh, you
Yeah.
making me blush over here, boys.
See what I did there?
Make me
Yeah.
blush. But I was going to say is that the reason why I bring that up is because streaming gives you opportunities. And that's what I think you need to take advantage of. Even though you may feel like I did, I'm letting people down. You've got to take it. You've got to be a little bit, not greedy isn't the right word, but self-fulfilling. Like you've got to be like, I know that streaming's not going to last forever. You can see Ninja, Pokimane, they're making millions and they're still like, I'm walking away. For me, it's like, what's the next step? And I would love to do like hosting, casting, presenting, and that's the opportunity to give it to me from Twitch ANZ specifically. So yeah, I just think know what you've got to do and know that there is, I would say, a finite timeline to you streaming. You know, I think there's only a matter of time you can do it before it's kind of like you don't want to do it, or you just like people just don't want to see the same old thing and they've, moved on or whatever it is.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I think you got to diversify before that hits as well.
Yeah.
I think one of my mistakes was I didn't diversify or scale what I was doing soon enough. I tried to, but I couldn't find an editor who was like kind of the right fit.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And like now I'm finding this editor to pick things up, right? But if I'd scaled Stream Scheme and brought on an editor maybe 6 months ago or 8 months ago, I probably would be in a much better headspace. So like you got to diversify into those new opportunities and scale things and change things early before you no longer want to do it.
Yeah.
Which is so strange to say.
It
But
is.
yeah, I don't know. It's important to do.
Yeah,
think so.
you talking about that Reapz reminded me of something. So a couple of weeks ago, I got reached out to Xbox ANZ and they were like, "Hey, there's this developer live stream for Pentiment, which is I don't you've seen a little bit of Pentiment? It's the game they announced a bit ago. There
I've heard of it. I haven't seen it.
Yeah. It's the game that's got that very heavy influence of like kind of that medieval sort of art style.
Oh,
It's
okay.
like an action adventure. Well, not action adventure, but narrative adventure. And like, look, we're going to do this developer live stream. Like it's going to be, and all the information will be embargoed for a week, and then you'll be able to like post about it and stuff. And I thought about it for a second, and I was like, I'm not really interested in the game. And I'm just like, and I was kind of tossing back and forth. And then I like the next day, I thought about it. I'm like, you know what? I'm just gonna say yes. I'll wake up early in the morning. It was early, and I'll do it, and then I'll make a little bit of content about it. So I said yes, and then we got to the live stream, and I had this little bit of imposter syndrome. So everyone's we're waiting for the live stream to start, and I just see in this chat there's no like usernames. It's all like just like random like user generated stuff because it's in like a private thing. And I just see, oh, hey, it's so-and-so from IGN. It's so-and-so from Eurogamer. It's so-and-so from this. And then I didn't actually type this because I was too much of a coward, but I wrote it in the box and I screenshotted it. I think I posted the
You
Discord,
posted it for us,
of that thing where I was just like, oh, hi, just some random streamer from Australia. That's how it felt. But and then so the live stream started, and so we're listening to these devs, and it was actually really cool. Like I actually loved that I got the opportunity to be a part of this like private live stream. And then after it was over, like I immediately wrote my script for what I was going to write. And then I ended up making, I was going to make a YouTube video because I didn't really have a place to put it. So I made just a Twitter video, and that was really, really enjoyable. And a lot of people like gave some feedback saying, oh, this is cool. This is awesome. It made me more excited about the game because like we knew what it was actually about. Yeah. And that's it's just kind of goes on that fact you were talking about. So it's like you got to just take those opportunities, like even if it's a bit different to what you normally do, like just say yes, because you got nothing to lose. It's just something else you get to apply yourself to, and see if you like it, and then if it goes well, like that's great. That's something that you can look back on, and that's an example.
Yeah, agree.
Yeah. So essentially, I think that's a big one. Like, I personally am getting told, I don't know what it is, guys, but I think being called a coward does affect you slightly.
It's
makes
a
you,
lit of fire
the
underneath you.
testosterone kind of pissed me off. But I don't know. Like, so for example, like, so I've been doing some sub goals and stuff like that for fun content. You know, I've been pushing myself a bit harder. But I think it's an interesting one because you're always going to have detractors. You know what I mean? You're always going to have detractors, and the best thing you can do is try and ignore them. But you're never going to, right? You just have to push through. I've had a lot of detractors that I don't really remember the individuals anymore. It just hits for a little bit, and then I keep moving.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't know. I think that I think one of the things is that I always try to say to you guys, and I always try to say to people, is that I'm totally okay with being wrong and learning when I've made a mistake. And I talked about that when I said on stream a while ago, or on the podcast a while ago, that I was very intensely detracting against all gambling streams. Yep. And then I came back and said, no, I guess everyone has a price. I don't know everyone's situation. I said, you know, millionaires getting it, not great. But someone who's like, you know, just starting out, getting it could change their entire life. So I'm going to be less intense and less harsh about people. And I think another one for me is sub goals as well, in the sense that like I used to feel like sub goals were a bit rough to do in this day and age until I had a couple people say to me like, LJ, dude, yeah, you're making money off YouTube and stuff like that, but you're not forcing people to sub. Yeah. You're not holding a gun to someone's head and saying, give me your money. You know, like you're just, all you're doing is just going live and saying, hey, if you want this extra piece of content, you can sub. And if we hit X, then we're going to do it. You know what I mean? Which I thought was cool. So I did community night on Friday. Last Friday, which is not something I've done. I haven't done community night in ages. But community night with me was, you know, the classics. Words on stream, Gartic on stream. So I didn't do Fall Guys, but I did marbles. You know, and I had a sub goal there, the classic one, throwback to like, you know, if we get 5 subs, I'll smash some Vegemite. And of course, people loved it. I wasn't forcing. I wasn't even talking about. People loved it. I ended up doing like 40 subs total, so like 7 things of Vegemite. And people had a lot of fun doing marbles and words and stuff. Yeah. You know, and it's good. I feel like by being a bit more cavalier, a bit more whatever with it, it's definitely more enjoyable again to be doing stuff. I just have to put this video out.
Well, we should probably move over to the question of the week. Do we have a question?
I do have a question.
Here we go.
I do indeed have a question. So this one is all about call to actions. Okay. So it's by Right Host. It's our latest one. Essentially, they say they give them mod advice and a bunch of other stuff. And because we talked about a bunch of moderation when they asked it last time. And they wanted to talk about call to actions. And so I think they also asked me this on the SSN live stream. And a really interesting conversation came up. And it was, how often on stream or in a video will you guys CTA someone to follow or maybe subscribe or check out the Discord or anything like that? And how do you integrate it without it just being noise? Or how do you integrate it without bothering someone? Essentially, what's the effective way to call to action?
Yeah. Well, that's a tough one for me because when I started off YouTube, I was very like, there was no subliminal messaging. I was like, please like, oh no, I tried to do reverse psychology on them. I said, and remember to dislike the video, don't comment and don't subscribe because we love that as YouTubers. Like, that's what I said. And I don't know how that went, whatever. But these days I try and think kind of like with streaming as well. It's like I try and be a bit more subtle. So my call to actions are usually just graphics on the screen saying, you know, here's the subscribe thing, here's my other socials, But I think like I should start being more kind of, hey, like you said with the whole subbing thing, LJ, it's like they're not forced to do it. You just have to remind them that we do have this. If you want to click on it, please click on it and it's free to do so. On with the content. I think it's more the fact it's the space when you know that they're begging with you. Do you remember those old 3 a.m. videos? It was like, Chucky alive at 3 a.m. I give him a call or whatever it is. It's a huge thing. And then they used to do this thing in the video where it's like, okay, guys, 5 seconds challenge. You've got to subscribe in 5 seconds. And if you do it, I'm going to like smash an egg over my head. 5, 4, 3. Like, did you subscribe? And then they didn't. And then they got like a chocolate egg and they went bang. And I was like, haha, you thought it was an actual egg. And it just made me so angry that I'd immediately like just freaking like, I can't.
First
Obviously,
thing,
it's for kids.
I'm confused as to why you're watching 3 a.m. Chucky Comes Alive
you know why
videos,
I
to be
watch
honest,
Nuke's
bud.
Top 5. So it was one of those old things, and I love watching the commentary channels where they go over these 3 a.m. videos that have now were the biggest thing. And what was the J Station? He used to do them, and so I watched the back thing, and that was one of the things.
Don't ring Pizza Hut at 3 a.m. in the morning.
Correct. Yeah. So
And they get like, they had like a Papa John's box and they put it in a Pizza Hut box and like literally like just pretended like no one could see they'd ordered a pizza from a different place.
because they couldn't be asked. They just needed the thumbnail like more than anything. But yeah, for me, it's a lot more subtle. I don't know what the most effective thing is. I'm not going to say that I know what the most effective thing is. But for me, I am going to try and incorporate it more into just like, if you like this, please consider subscriing. All right, see you guys later. Peace. But I'm not going to be like heavy-handed in terms of like, I really need this, pleading, begging, everything in between.
Yeah, when it comes to stream, I definitely think I'm not verbal enough. Like I've got my like on my little floating panel that's underneath my camera. Like it cycles through like every 40 minutes, I think it is, where it cycles through, the it's like, oh, like Twitter, like Instagram, like TikTok, all that kind of stuff. It cycles through. But I definitely think on stream I'm not verbal enough. Like I think every now and then it doesn't hurt to be like, hey, if you're just tuning into the stream, feel free. We've got a Discord. You can easily just kind of vamp that into the conversation, especially if you find like a little bit of a lull. But building that habit, that's the hardest part. And so that's something I'm trying to get a little bit better about, is sort of just kind of just verbally putting it out there to push people to, go follow the socials and, come join the Discord as well. And also just kind of generally putting it out there that that I've, for people to go check out the YouTube channel, especially when I'm streaming Yu-Gi-Oh, who are there to watch Yu-Gi-Oh. It's like, hey, YouTube channel's all about Yu-Gi-Oh, come over. When it comes to videos though, I need to remember to like say it. I feel like at the beginning, like near the start of the video, I think you can make a really quick mention of it. It's like, if you enjoy these videos, like and subscribe. And then I think most people will always kind of say that at the end of the video. Like I feel that's pretty ingrained for them to do it at the end as well.
Yeah. So when I first started Stream Scheme, I had every single video about 50 to 60% of the way through. I would say, now I'm going to talk about X topic that they really were interested in a second. But first, I just want to throw it out there. It's totally free if you want to subscribe to the channel. And if you want some free animated overlays, there's a link in the description, right? And I did that for every single video. And so when one video popped off and all the other videos started popping off, every single video would remind them to subscribe. They wouldn't subscribe the first time, but if they watched the second video, well, okay, maybe I will subscribe this time, LJ. And so I had this thing, right? And I've always said, I actually think that you should add some sort of interesting CTA that doesn't kick people away, but like mentions it and stuff like that. A big CTA that everyone will agree on is that at the very end of the video, you should say, if you enjoyed this, consider like, comment, and subscribing. It really helps us out. But I have this video here all about X, which is a topic they like, and then manually put the end screen so they go click that to the other one, right? And that gives bigger session time when your YouTube channel increases it. But someone asked about this on my SSN YouTube stream, and I said, that's how I did Stream Scheme. I don't do it as much anymore, because I just don't want to tell people to join just for the free overlays and stuff like that. But I used to do it every single one. And I think that's one of the reasons why I grew really quickly. And a guy who was an analyst, who said he was an analyst in digital marketing and stuff like that, and he had a pretty big channel, so I believe that he's probably pretty true, was saying, actually, subscribing does nothing. And it actually hurts you, because if they get shown 3 other videos to go click on. And I was trying to be really polite about it, but I really disagree with that, right? Because hear me out. If you subscribe to a channel from a video, YouTube does signal that as this is a video someone wants to see more from this person. They're not going to go to no one gets videos from subscription feeds anymore.
Yep.
But that's a signal that it's good, and therefore the browser suggested will actually go through. And then the second thing is that I think if your video is so bad that telling someone to subscribe is enough for them to stop watching, then you have bigger problems.
Sure.
Right? And I said this, and he goes, oh, yeah, I guess kind of true, whatever. And I said, hey, if Mr. Beast is willing to tell people to sub in a video, I am. And I said, and you know what? If Dream is going to open every video by saying 80% of you who watch this aren't subscribed, then yeah, I'm going to do it too, right? Like your content, if your content is ruined by a single CTA or ruined by a few seconds, then there's a bigger issue with your content, right?
Yeah.
And that's something I've had to come to terms with as well, right? And people go, oh, you shouldn't have ad reads in the first 2 minutes. Like, dude, I have a video that's 32 minutes long, has a 60-second ad read in the first 2 minutes, has a 60-second intro in the first 2 minutes before the ad read, and then gets into the content. And it has 1.3 million views on it.
Yeah.
It's literally half the time people, this is one of the things about YouTube that I absolutely adore. I adore how scientific and analytical you can be with the entire breakdown of a YouTube channel.
Okay.
But I hate it at the same time. Because at the end of the day, it's not complicated. Make good content someone wants to watch, make it appealing and keep them watching the whole time. But you, at the same time, you don't need to aggressively pixel peep every single moment.
Yeah.
Stream Scheme, almost all of my early videos have an animated intro slide, right? Some of my biggest videos on my channel have an animated intro slide. Got rid of the animated intro slide. Some of those videos have never performed. Some of them have done really well. It's like, I'm very much aware that some of my videos are just shit, right? They're just not as good as other videos. Having an intro slide that animates in, if that's enough for someone to leave, then I fucked up, right? Having a call to action or a sponsor at the start, if that's enough for someone to leave, then yeah, again, that's on me, right? But at the same time, I've had all those things that people say, never do this. And I've used them in my videos, and I've had videos do amazing.
Right.
And you can see that. If you watch my top performing videos, some of the shit they do is absolutely terrible, and you'll be told never to do it. And then if you go to some of my bottom performing videos, it does every single thing that people say you should do, right? And so one of the big things I'll say to you is that I'll tell you guys to do what's called best practices. The things that we assume are best practices because it increases your chances overall. But at the same time, your focus should always just be to be creating good, flowing content that someone actually enjoys watching. If something is enough for someone to go, wait a minute, I'm watching a video that I don't want to watch, then that's a bigger issue at level. And I think that as YouTubers, we can get very analytical about our entire breakdown. But at the end of the day, just make it fun.
Yeah.
That's really all it is. Just make it fun or give the person enjoyment out of watching it or information, right?
Yeah.
At least that's my thoughts.
Yeah, just the simplest things. I had finished editing a video recently of I did like a opening of a new Yu-Gi-Oh box, right? A new set, right? And so like that's if you're interested in Yu-Gi-Oh, obviously it's exciting because like a new set comes out, you want to see what cards are in there. But during the edit, I was just like, and I would say certain things during the recording process. I'm like, I can riff off of this. And then I'd add like I'd just go out of my way to like 5-10 minutes just to make something a bit more fun, just to make it a bit more dynamic. And like that's a lot of fun. Like you want to doing everything you can to make the video engaging, to make it good. And then in that edit as well, where you're being additive, but you're not overblowing the entire thing by over editing. Because that's is a big issue too, is like people think they over edit.
Over edit's horrific. Like over editing is one of the biggest issues that I think new creators have as well. I think a lot of Minecraft and gaming videos and stuff like that teach people that they have to over edit. And I think I've said this before, I think over editing is a lack of confidence. You know what I mean? You don't feel like you can hold someone's attention for 10, 15 minutes, so you over edit every single second. Yeah. But in reality, that turns people away. Like it actually makes probably your key demographic leave, unless your key demographic is really young. You know what I mean? Like if you watch like Connor Dog, for example, I love Connor Dog's content, but there are some videos that are clearly aimed at younger people and they're so over edited. You know what I mean? His Inscription video, amazing. 50 minutes, I watched the whole thing, right? There's no over editing to it. His Poppy's Playtime, I still watched it, but there were times where I was like, whoa, dude, like this needs to be easy. Ease up, This is obviously not meant for me, right?
Yeah.
And I think it's you're right. Over editing is a huge thing. People lack that confidence and they go way over the top.
Yeah.
Working with Styles, my new editor for Stream Scheme, has been really interesting because I handed him an edit. I gave a bunch of footage and stuff like that. And then he gave it back to me and I was like, this is not like, you kind of understand the style clearly, but there's also way too many quick cuts. People don't have time to read. You're not zooming in on XYZ to show people what's going on. Like I love XYZ, I love this, but like these things are like way like too much. And I gave him a pass. Comes back and I'm like, you've done a great, but there's a few more. Let's give it a few more examples, right? Let's go another pass. I gave him a big old extra pass. We worked through it again. And I was talking to him about it this morning because he just passed me the new one. And it's like so much better. The pacing's a bit better. It's kind of a nice blend between that faster cutting and the normal, slower education cutting. And that was a big thing as well, like learning that. And as we go forward, we'll probably find a balance working together.
Yep.
Right. But it's super interesting taking someone who does gaming editing and giving them education editing.
Yeah.
And like seeing how much of a different experience that is. It's not about getting it faster and faster and faster. It's actually about slowing it down a little bit.
Yeah.
And engaging people with like longer shots with zooms and like adding these overlay and giving people examples with the overlay and stuff. And not just like, here's 20 clips in the space of 15 seconds.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know?
And
Which is what a lot of people
and
do.
that only comes from your own experience all these years editing as well.
Yeah.
And that's why you hear so many people that will tell new and upcoming creators, like, you need to edit for yourself, or you have to put in the hard yards. You need to learn all of those little nuances that kind of make the overall edit better. Because if you don't know that stuff, then and you all of a sudden go out and try and get an editor for yourself, you're not going to be able to accurately direct them, and they're just going to do what they think you want or what they think is best, and you might go, oh, yep, that's fine, I guess, and then you put the video out and it's not what you wanted. So you have to you have to learn
Pacing.
You know what's really, really, really interesting? Before we move on, if we're on YouTube, I know we're going to wrap up soon, but vidIQ posted, what's your goal for number of uploads this month, right? Which is interesting, right? Because I tell people to upload, I tell people to set a schedule and stick to it because it teaches you the craft. You know, I don't think you need to upload weekly for the sense that the algorithm needs weekly uploads. I say do more uploads in the same niche because it teaches YouTube who the videos are for. And the more you upload, the more you learn. Right. Yep. But the product lead for the YouTube homepage and recommendation, the guy's been doing it since 2013, maybe 2014. I should click his profile, but instead I'm just going to guess. And he is brilliant. His name's Todd, and he does like videos with Mr. Beast all the time. He breaks down the algorithm, breaks down what's important, talks about like what they're aiming for. And he's really pushing shorts at the moment. And so if you ever want to know if shorts are being updated to be good, you should follow Todd B on Twitter, essentially. But he replied to vidIQ and he said, I wouldn't recommend setting a goal around the number of uploads unless you are doing so in the context of practicing the video craft or experimenting.
Okay.
Once you find audience fit, you should focus on minimizing uploads and instead maximizing value per upload for you and your audience, which is literally like, that's like the whole point, right? It's like give them enough, understand what works, and then do that. But I thought that was just such a good reply, right? Because people do think it's mass, but it's not mass. It's just consistency until you find what you're doing, until YouTube knows what you're doing, and then going from there. And I just thought that was cool to include.
Yeah, that is very, very cool. Like to hear one of the head honchos who actually wrote the algorithm to a degree saying, actually, it's not about the quantity, it's more about the quality, and obviously X amount on top of it. But speaking of call to actions, boys, we have a few more months to hit our call to action of 1,000 subs. So if you do like what you see here, or here, if you're just listening to us, please do the likes, the comments, and the subscribes. As you know, we do a question of the week, which we just answered. Thank you so much, Bright Toast. And if you feel that your question is being looked over, do not fear. We're putting all of your questions in a big old document in our Discord, and we will do an episode purely of those questions. And also, do you feel, boys, that we should have another special guest on sometime soon? Because it's been a while. It's been a few podcasts, yeah?
It has been a while indeed.
I do. We'll figure. I got one who was going to come on, but speaking of creator burnout, we were going to bring Nutty on.
Yeah.
If anyone follows Nutty has eczema, which a lot of people think is just a visual thing, but it's actually not. It's a really brutal. I grew up with a bunch of people who have eczema. It's a really brutal, like physically painful thing. And his eczema flared up, and his medications are not working, right? And so he's been tweeting about this. He just can't create content.
Yeah.
He just can't create content because of it, which is brutal. But hopefully when he's feeling better, we'll get him on because he's been DMing me and we've been DMing a bit too, like trying to organize it.
Yeah, he's a lovely, lovely guy. And you should definitely check him out as well if you're not, obviously on YouTube and on Twitch. But the good thing is, I know that when I say that I don't look at analytics and everything like that, but I just went into the Stream Room audio podcast. And I got to say, boys, I'm looking at our like January to February to March to April to blah, blah, blah. Our graph is just continuously like going up and up and up. Last month, we got, I just have to say this number because it's great, 1,111 downloads for last month, which is fantastic because usually people watch us on YouTube and it's so 1111. So we got a 1, which is great. Hopefully this month we'll do better, but we can see that the algorithm in YouTube is picking us up a lot better and it feels great. So please, as we said before, give us comments, give us something that you'd like to hear about, what you like, what you don't like. Criticism is definitely welcome. Just don't be one of those douchebags who's like, well, I watched X podcast and they've got 20,000 more viewers.
Well, the Trash Taste podcast is
they
better.
got 1 million views per podcast.
I love the Trash Taste podcast.
They're
By the way,
great.
I just want to throw it out there,
Yeah.
right? Reapz, you gave that challenge on August 21st podcast.
Yes.
That you wanted to reach 1,000.
1,000 before
And
the end of the year.
yeah, and the day it released, I listened back to it on my walk, on my walk, because I listened to the podcast back. And I heard it at the end, so I just pulled my phone out and I just did a few SSN shares. And I've shared 2 of our videos in SSN this month. We've gone from averaging, maybe a couple thousand views each month to 7,200 views in the past 30 days. and half of those came in the second half, right? And then we've had 180 subs.
What?
In the past 2 weeks.
Wow.
In the past-
What are we
in the
on? I
past-
don't even know what we're on. Sheesh.
We're on 809.
Oh, it's so close.
yeah.
so close to this stream.
You were like, here's the challenge. And then I said, that's not a challenge. I haven't even marketed or leveraged our audience whatsoever.
Yeah.
And you were like, I think it's a challenge. And I was like, it's not.
It is. It's
And then-
organic. It's.
And then I was like, all right, I'll prove you wrong. If we just do marketing, it's fine. So I just marketed this to this audience. Boom, 200 new subs in fucking 2 weeks.
Yeah.
Well, we're gonna reach 1,000, Reapz.
Well, I'm not gonna count anything until we reach it. All right. Let's just
Here's
say.
the thing, though, right?
It's just,
We were really worried because we were worried that these subs wouldn't convert or these views wouldn't convert
Yes.
to like clicks.
Yeah.
But since I've been sharing it, every single episode has been 1 of 10, like the highest performing it could,
just
which means
keeps-
people are
keeps
actually
going.
interested.
Yeah.
But we did agree on this. When we first started the podcast that you're hearing now, we said we're not going to do any promotion for it. We're not going to do any marketing apart from on our streams. We want it to be completely organic and see if people actually want to listen to it. And because of that, before then, people were listening and more people were getting on board, which is great. We're on the right track. And because of that, we feel like at the point, hopefully, I can speak on behalf of the boys here, correct me if I'm wrong, that we're kind of like, okay, let's market it a bit more now. Let's put it out there. We found our groove. We are now stellar. We've got our groove back, and we're totally trying to focus on making the content as best as it can be. Hence why we've done the kind of like many tangents and stuff. People seem to really enjoy it.
Well, also the big thing is because we didn't start promoting it until we had 35, 36 episodes.
Yeah.
We're recording episode, I think 34?
34,
No, 34 went
35,
out.
something
this
like
is
that, yeah.
35.
Yeah.
We didn't start promoting it until we had over 30 episodes.
Yeah.
So everyone who finds it now when we promote it has 30 episodes of 2 hours each episode to go back and watch through and learn from and hear things. And it's just it's going to be such a better experience for people as well. Because it's not like, oh, watch one and done. The algo goes, oh, this person watched 5 episodes of this back to back to back. And they're all about it, you know?
The amount of people I see that are genuinely they're watching or listening to the podcast on release. It drops at midnight and they're watching it.
And they're telling me the next day, this is what you talked about. It's being what the hell?
Yeah.
It's pretty cool. It's very, very cool. But I'm gonna keep sharing episodes as we go. I think it'll be good to do.
Yeah.
It's definitely helping browse and definitely doing a lot. And it does also set me up though, because a couple SSN viewers have come over, listened to episodes, and then gone back to videos where I've complained about commenters, found the comments, and replied to them.
God, people are crazy.
No, it's all right? Because last episode I talked about how someone wrote, "Why are you talking about community polls over and over when we can't even use them?"
Yeah.
And the guy could use them. He had enough subs to use them. And I read it out and I was like, I don't understand why this is a good why someone would comment this. So one of the podcast listeners went over there thinking, "There's no way this is a real comment," and saw them all and saw that guy specifically and wrote, "Jesus, I didn't think this was real when I heard it on the podcast." So it just goes to show, right? I'm not talking out of my ass when I talk about these comments or experiences or the people in chat or the people this is why I have the hesitation to upload or do things, is because I'm not making it up. It's all there.
It's there.
It is there, people. And now we're giving you the
incredible.
gritty. We're giving you the behind the curtain, behind the smoke and mirrors, as it were, of exactly what we go through. But again, if you have any topics you want us to discuss, because again, we kind of make them up on the week beforehand, try and fly them out there. But if there's anything specific, let us know. Again, we've got the Q&As coming up, never fear. Guests coming up. Anything else, please do let us know and hit that subscribe button so we can get to 1,000 things by the end of the year. Thank you so much.
And look, as like we've spoken about as well, we're going to, obviously do a live stream with that of all three of us playing a game. If you have a really good suggestion for a game you think would be great for the three of us to play on that live stream as well, let us know too.
Yes.
Played up.
Besides played up. Besides played up.
LJ, do you want to wrap us up?
Yes, we are dropping frames and we will see you next week. Please like, comment, and subscribe. If you're listening on the audio, make sure you actually follow the audio. And a lot of people just go click on it and watch it.
Please follow it. It helps out tremendously.
Also, it really helps out if you comment as well. Not just because the algo, but it gives us things to talk about. So I hope you enjoyed it and we'll see you guys next week. Bye-bye, gang.
Bye-bye.
Why are some of the largest streamers walking away from millions of dollars a month? Ninja and Poki are gone, and a dozen other... no.
About those mugs, Nick, can we get them reglazed?
Hold on. Sorry, let me try it again. All right, it's
all
not
good.
my...
No, you're smashing it. Don't worry.
No, I fucked it. All right.
This is going at the very end.
Yeah.